All right. Let's see. We good? Okay, we're good. Is the thing on? What's up, guys? Welcome back in. This is JE Live. The Rams, by the way, if the season ended today, and obviously it doesn't, but if it did, the Rams would be in the playoffs. That's how big today was. Not just the Rams getting the win. Obviously, taking care of business is a great thing. But anytime you're able to get all the teams you need to help you out, that's a great thing. Because I can tell you right now, been there, done that. That doesn't happen. Doesn't happen anymore, right? It rarely happened back in the day when I was watching. And I've joked about this on here many times before, but I've been through this. Like all throughout my childhood, it was like with the St. Louis Rams, I got, playoff machine on all day, and I'm just like bored out of my mind trying to find different ways to get them in the playoffs. And you're like, oh, well, you need this team to lose and this team to lose and this team to lose and this team to lose. Albeit the Rams are in a way better position than they normally would be if you're talking about the St. Louis Rams. But man, awesome day, awesome week. Look, I understand the result. We might have predicted a blowout. We might have thought that this was going to be a little bit different. I don't really care. Like, I'm here to say, like, let's just take a moment to just, enjoy this. They play on Thursday, so you don't have to wait another full week to see Rams football, which is cool. The story is not finished, but it's looking pretty darn good right now with 3 games left to go. But let's just look at it for what it is. The Rams, again, didn't love the ending, didn't love that it ended up being 28-20 when they should have probably won by 30 plus. They were by far the better team. But let's just call it like it is. The Rams today got the job done when they had to get the job done. They won the game when they had to win the game. And they did so after all these other teams lost to help the Rams. And now the Rams have completed a 3-6 narrative of trading Stafford away, trading Kupp, deadline trades, tanking, mailing it in, dead in the water. That 3-6 team has turned into a 7-7 team that looks like one of the best in all of football right now. And they are now finally in the playoffs. They have to stay there, and there are some things to talk about, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of stuff to clean up. You can't play like this against a 49ers team who you have on a schedule. You can't play like this against that Giants defense at MetLife. I don't care what they did today. Completely different animal at home. You can't play like this against the Saints on Thursday Night Football on a short week. You have to finish these games. But you can enjoy what this really is. And what this is that the Rams, since the bye, have only lost 1 game. Okay? And that's an important thing here, is that they've turned this thing around. And it's not just, this would be a really cool story, It would be really nice if the Rams, sitting at the bye 3-6, were able to win 4 out of the next 5 games, which is what they did. The only game they lost was the game I expected them to lose, and they should have won. So they could very well be 5-0 coming out of the bye. We are going to apply a win is a win in this scenario here. I thought you saw some excellent things out of Matthew Stafford. He made some incredible throws per usual. But what's not per usual, because I don't want to just, rub it off as it's just we're taking him for granted at this point, is once again Matthew Stafford, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns. So he breaks the streak of 3 touchdowns. He had at least 3 the last 3 games. But 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions over the last 4 games, I believe it is, like against the Ravens defense and the Browns defense on the schedule. I mean, look, you can say what you will. And I could have made, and I considered making, an optimist guide to the Rams rest of the season and a pessimist guide to the Rams rest of the season. And in the pessimist guide to the Rams rest of the season, I would have said, going into this, well, after, the Cardinal game, I would have said, well, the pessimist side of me would say, well, the Rams, 4 out of their 5 wins were against divisional teams that they know very well. The Cardinals and the Seahawks. And the only other team was the Colts. But in reality, look at how good the Colts are. The Colts just won their 8th game. It comes down to the fact that, first off, this league, no one separates. So if you want to say, yeah, I'm really upset with the way the Rams finished this game, fine, that's your prerogative. But I just can't stress enough, this league, no one wants to separate. You want to talk about the 49ers being the best team right now? Maybe you're right, but I did see them lose 3 straight. When Trent Williams goes down, that's a different team. When they don't have Deebo Samuel, that's a different team. No Christian McCaffrey, a different team. Brock Purdy went to the blue medical tent. It would be a completely different team. I mean, that's the thing. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, his biggest issue has been staying healthy. Right around this time, every single year he's gotten hurt. I mean, the Ravens have always had issues with health. It just, for whatever reason, they're one of those cursed teams. But man, I have to say, no one is really standing out as a Tom Brady, Bill Belichick juggernaut, as a Legion of Boom juggernaut, as a, Peyton Manning, Gary Kubiak, Broncos juggernaut. No one is standing out as that type of team. No one. Who is standing out that way? Because I'll tell you right now, those type of teams don't have 3 losses already on the season. They don't. So that's kind of the interesting thing about this whole thing, is that I've watched this season. There's just not really many teams sticking out as like a dominant thing, which adds and breathes life into the idea the Rams can. I'm just going to say it. They can win the Super Bowl, guys. I'm just going to say it. They absolutely can do it. I'm not saying they will. But if you think that they can't win the Super Bowl, then you're just saying that to not sound like a homer. It's not a homer thing. No one has stood out. No one. There have been bits and pieces. Remember when the Eagles were winning everything? Remember the Eagles were consistently just finishing games? Now they're not. Now they're changing their defensive coordinator in week 15 of the regular season. So that's kind of the deal here, is that, the way the Rams have turned things around, and again, winning against the Commanders 28-20 at home, like, you might look at this as a kind of a failure. I look at this as they took care of business. They've won 4 of the last 5 since the bye. They're a completely different offense. They scored 28. They scored 28 points. They should have scored 30 again. Haversick missed the field goal. Kyron Williams, 152 yards rushing and a touchdown. Okay, he had 2 fumbles. Well, the 2 fumbles are a big reason why this wasn't an absolute drubbing. If you think about it, Stafford missed 8 passes on the day, had 118 passer rating. Cooper Kupp is back to 100-yard Cooper Kupp a game. Another touchdown for him. Demarcus Robinson, Johnny on the spot. Just find the soft spot in the zone, get it to me. I'm going to come down with, make a play. I just don't think people are aware of the gravity that this Rams team right now has. I mean, the situation is this. Yeah, that touchdown was annoying, right? The one at the end of the game. But also keep this in mind. Aaron Donald came out when it was pretty obvious. Mind you, they have a Thursday night football game. They were taking some guys off the field. Akello Witherspoon. I feel like this team has gotten hot at the right time, but I feel like the implication of saying they got hot, I feel like that's like saying it's temporary, right? It's like a buff. Like, oh, they're hot right now. Like, it's going to go away. But I think it's so much more simple than that with the Rams. The Rams, this is what they are. Since the bye week, since they've made the adjustments, what you see is what you get. This Rams team is not perfect. But even still, all the miscues that they had, and they still scored in every single quarter again. They still scored 28. They're without Rob Havenstein at right tackle. I don't even have to tell you how big that is. They're without their speedy deep threat receiver in Tutu Atwell that stretches out the field. I don't know, man. I feel really good about this team. Now, there are some issues, and I'm sure you guys are going to, hash over it when you come on here and, you call in. I mean, I'll say this. Darian Kendrick, he's got to play better. He's got to be better. I don't want to pin it all on him, but, the moment Akello comes out of the game and you instantly start having those lapses, you can't have that. I'm not out on Darian Kendrick. I think he has a lot of talent. There's a reason why he's a 6th round corner that's starting in his second year. But at the same time, there has to be better discipline. He's got to play. He's got to be better. When you don't have safety help over the top, you can't play it as aggressive as he did. So definitely some issues there. Pass breakups. You had 2 with Lake. I thought having Lake back he was like an Energizer bunny. He was huge. I know he gave up a touchdown. Wouldn't necessarily put that all on him, but I thought Quentin Lake was great. How about Nick Hampton on a 4th down? They go for it on 4th down. Nick Hampton has not played in weeks, and he gets one of the most important plays of the game, batting the ball away. Just great stuff out of him. Kobe Durant, you don't really hear much about him anymore. He hasn't really been in the news like he was last year when he led the NFL in interception return yardage. He gets a blocked kick, extra point there. Ernest Jones had the only sack of the game. That is one thing I'll say. I would like to see more pressure on an offensive line that I don't think is very good. To only have 1 sack was a little surprising. But at the same time, I think the Rams just played this thing conservatively. It doesn't mean that they didn't try. It doesn't mean that there wasn't some aggression. But I think they knew what the game was. They had to take care of business. I don't think they overlooked them. But I don't think the Rams going into this game felt Washington was a massive threat or anything like that. And so, also Akello had 2 pass breakups as well. Got to mention that. But yeah, I think they are in a really good spot right now. They really are. I'll get into it here. We'll bring up the playoff odds. Again, New York Times is a little weird because they got rid of it. Went from 38% and then 31%, so I don't even know. But let's see here. So we got the Rams are up to 44%, and that's before the Commanders. So if I give them the Commanders win, New York Times has them at 56%, guys. The Rams are now at a 56% chance of making the playoffs. So really good stuff. And like I said, it couldn't have gone any better. I think to be at 56% now going into week 16 and you kind of set the tone, you start the week. You play on Thursday night. You win that game, man. You're 8-7. That goes up more. Now it puts more pressure on these other teams to win. They know everyone's going to see. They know that you took care of business if they do on Thursday Night Football. That adds pressure. So interesting stuff there. I'm going to tweet this real quick. So yeah, 56% chance. I like those odds. 56% chance with the win over the Saints, that goes up to 77, it looks like. A win over the Giants, and they are now at a 96% chance. And should they lose to the 49ers, they have a 96% chance of making the playoffs. So, like I said, the next 3 games are so big. They're so crucial. I think getting that win over the Commanders obviously goes without saying, but you're able to take down the Saints and you're in a really good position here. We can look real quick, at 76%. Obviously, the Seattle and Philly game is interesting too, because as of right now they're at 56. Should the Eagles win, that can go up to 60. Should the Seahawks win, that will go down to 50%. So we'll see. That's the only game that's really like has anything to do with their playoff implications at this point for the rest of the week. So that's interesting. I think the Eagles win. So we'll put them, that would put them at, 59, 60%, whatever. Then you have the Rams Saints. I think the Rams get the job done. That would put them at 80%. And then we'll say that the Seahawks beat the Titans, although I could see the Titans winning that game. I think the Colts beat the Falcons. I think the Lions beat the Vikings, and I think the Packers beat the Panthers. So all of that happening would make it at 80% chance of making the playoffs for the Rams. Then you have the Giants and Eagles, Cardinals and Bears. We'll just say the Bears beat the Cardinals, and we'll have the Eagles beat the Giants. So all that happening would put them at 77% going into week 17. And based on that, the Rams would clinch the playoffs with a win over the Giants. That's the end of it. So, yeah, I mean, really, I don't know. I think it's really fascinating how quickly this whole thing came about. But yeah, I mean, that's not even the best case scenario, guys. That's not the best case scenario, but the Lions beating the Vikings. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think that's the one thing. If Seattle loses to the Eagles, then the only thing that really matters is that Lions and Vikings game. Because I'm looking at it right now. I mean, obviously, if the Panthers beat the Packers, the Rams could theoretically clinch the playoffs with a win over the Giants as well. So, yeah, I mean, it goes both ways. If the Packers win, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here, but the Vikings can't lose that game to the Lions if they want to make the playoffs, and the Packers need to win. I mean, basically, because these two teams face each other, they're guaranteed a loss or a win, whatever. So, yeah, it really fascinating stuff, guys. I mean, it's funny. You go into it and just it kind of flips everything on its head. I mean, you're not really expecting it. All of a sudden, you're like, wow, okay, this is how that is. I'm gonna look at the playoff machine now because that was just the New York Times. So, looking at right now, the Rams would play Philly in the first round. I think that's a really good matchup, to be honest with you. I think the Rams can win that game. I think the Rams can beat Detroit. So whoever they end up getting, I think San Francisco locked in that first seed. I don't see them losing that. So there's a chance they even sit their starters week 18. I'm not saying they do, but there's a chance. Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. That's, pretty crazy how everything kind of changed. Being all annoyed, like, oh, of course, the Vikings, they win the game 3-0. And now that Vikings lost to the Bengals, I mean, the Rams, they don't have the tiebreaker over Minnesota right now, But Minnesota loses one more game and the Rams win out. They could take that 6th seed right from them. So, interesting stuff for sure. I'm going to say the Eagles win on Monday Night Football. I think they're going to beat the Seahawks. Could be Drew Lock under center for that game. Tonight, I got Baltimore over the Jaguars. It doesn't have really any implications. Strength of schedule would go up, I guess, but doesn't matter. Then week 16, take the Rams. So a Rams win puts them at the 6th seed. The Lions beat the Vikings. Now the Rams have the 6th seed locked in. Packers beat the Panthers, and it really doesn't matter at that point. It goes without saying, the Rams, if they get some help from the Lions next week with a win in Minnesota, the Rams can hang on to the 6th seed the rest of the way. I will say the 5th seed is out of the question. I know some people saw Dallas get shell-shocked today on the road. If Dallas fell apart, Dallas still has the tiebreaker over the Rams. Best they can do is go 10-7. The worst Dallas can do is go 10-7. Dallas has the 5th seed locked up. So that's how that's going to go. But yeah, it's pretty remarkable when you think about it, how this happened though. So again, we'll see. I mean, there's still plenty of games left to go. There's 3 more games. These games matter. The Rams still have a very real pathway to going and getting that 6th seed, whether it's at 10-7 or 9-8. But I can't stress enough how big today was, because this isn't as possible as it feels right now. And I'm kind of reacting to it in the moment, because while I saw it happen, it's different seeing it happen, having the ideology. But once the Rams win the game, now you can see the numbers start to make sense. Now you can start to give them the win. You can start to get happy, because, I mean, really, they got to take care of business. It really comes down to that, but they're in a really good position. I can't stress that enough. If you think the Rams, if you've said that for a while, you thought the Rams, I just realized I didn't even have my overlay on. That's funny. If you think, wow, 840 people, appreciate y'all. If you think for a second that the Rams don't have a chance about getting into the playoffs, they are the favorite to get the 7th seed right now. So think about that. They're the favorite to get the 7th seed. They can very much get the 6th seed. So let's keep it going, folks. Let's keep it going. The new viewers, be sure to subscribe. I'm covering the Rams all the time. This is a Rams channel, so be sure to do that. But yeah, I'm excited to talk with some of you guys. Also, I don't want to run out of voice, because obviously if I talk too much, I'm going to lose my voice. But defensive matchups for the next 3 games. That video is coming out this week. I decided to push it back. Sorry. The offensive matchup one, though, I know you guys like that, so defensive one will be coming out soon. But yeah, I'm really excited, guys. I can't, before I let people come on here, I just got to say, from a personal standpoint, it is so much more fun, obviously, to cover a team when they're winning. But after last year, it kind of brought me back to 2016 when I first started covering the Rams. But I wasn't covering the Rams live streaming after every game. That was I guess the beauty of not putting myself out there in 2016, that I don't necessarily regret, is that I would feel annoyed, oh, great, I have to record a podcast about this game. And, but at the same time, that wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? It's different when you go live after a loss. It's brutal. Yes, it's therapeutic and we have fun and everything, but it still sucks to talk about a game that they could have won. But in this one, they're able to hang on. They outplayed them the whole way, and then fourth quarter they kind of, led Washington back into it. But yeah, I feel really good about where this team is at. Sean McVay, hell of a coaching job, has to be up for Coach of the Year. I understand he might not get it, but I don't know how he's not a top 3 candidate at this point for what the Rams have done in a year where it was kind of a retool. Just really, really impressed. Now they obviously 3 more games. Let's not get carried away. They're not in the playoffs yet. Take care of business. We've seen teams fail. Steelers, they were 7-4, right? Now, they're 7-7. I mean, you can never be so sure. So the Rams were 3-6. Some people had them out of the playoffs and, we're going to pick in the top 5 and wanted to tank for a quarterback. And now Matthew Stafford looks like one of, if not the best quarterback in football over the last 4 weeks. 2 of those games against really good defenses. And the Rams look like one of the hottest teams in football, and they look like a really tough team to beat right now. This is the NFL. If you haven't been paying attention, this is how the NFL is. This is why I never will turn my back on an NFL team, even if they're 3-6 at the bye. We've seen too many things. We saw last year, Jacksonville went 3-7. They stole the division, and then they stole that game against the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence had 4 interceptions in the first half, and they won. Think about it. This is an incredibly unpredictable league. You just don't know. And you're never going to know. You don't know until it happens. So, yeah, this is wild. It really is. Basically, they have a over 70% chance of making the playoffs if they beat the Saints on Thursday. So we don't have to wait that much longer to see that. Let's bring on some guests. Let's see here. 1 second. We got... Let's set this up so you guys can actually hear them. That'd be nice. Okay. There we go. I'm going to bring on Scoot. I feel like we need the energy right now. Scoot, need the energy.
Oh, we're here. We're here after a huge dub.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going fantastic. You know what I'm absolutely sick of? I'm sick of people complaining after this big dub.
Oh, I am too. Because it's just like, just enjoy it, man. Just
enjoy the dub.
Yeah.
We won. I was never nervous at any point. Was I a little disappointed in the final stretch of the fourth? Sure. But did I think that they were going to win? Did I think Ron Rivera and Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett were going to score that many points in the fourth quarter? I know the defense was a little bit suspect at the end, but think about how much clock they drained at the end of the game. Think about how long they were on the field for.
And Akello was out. So, that's the thing, is that Akello was out. They sat Donald. I mean, kind of the same thing happened against the Cardinals. You put the backups in and immediately, Kyler Murray's throwing deep down the field and having some success. And this obviously became a closer game than the Cardinal game, but it's the same deal. And so, yeah, I would like to see him finish it better. I'm glad it wasn't a Texans game, though. I got to be honest with you. Scoot, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think it was either 2018. It was 2000. Actually, it might have been the Super Bowl season. Either way, the Texans game, they dominated them. In the third quarter, Sean McVay took all the starters out. They were up like 28-7 or something, or 28-0. And the Texans
they scored like 21. They scored like 20-something points in the fourth.
Yeah, and you don't want to see a game end like that. But I don't feel like that's what this was. And I give credit to Washington for, trying to fight back, and, Jacoby Brissett for coming in and doing what he did.
You know what people aren't going to talk about? When these teams that you think are automatic wins, you think this is a free win, this is a bye week, we should win by 14. This team was fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. This was a must-win game for them too.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They weren't coming in trying to lose, trying to tank. They were trying to win this game.
Yeah, they were hoping to go 8-9 and have a really ugly scenario, but to be fair, that ugly scenario is possible with a win over the Rams. I mean, they would have had a tiebreaker over the Rams if they won this game. As crazy as that sounds. So
not only are we eliminating teams from the playoffs, we're locking up the 7th seed. Next week, beat the Saints, we might be the 6th seed depending on how things go. It was a great week for Rams football. I don't care. I don't care if you're one of those people that you're like, "Oh, we shouldn't be looking at other teams. We should be only focused on what."
I know.
We're focused on winning. We're rooting on our team to win. We're banking on it, right? But it doesn't hurt to have a little help. We started out 3-6, and we're sitting here 7-7. People didn't think that this team was going to make any noise this season. We were supposed to get Caleb Williams. We were supposed to be getting Drake May. We were projected to be a top 5 pick. This was during the offseason and when we were 3-6. People thought we were tanking. People said we were openly tanking. Oh, Donald's washed. Stafford. People said Matthew Stafford was washed. How many picks has Matthew thrown in the last couple games?
0.
0. He's thrown 2 picks since the bye week. 13 tuds. Getting it done in the air. Kyron getting it done on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's my work.
No, I mean
All
he's
right, short one.
yeah. I mean he has 21 touchdowns on the season passing, but Scoot, what's the potential on this team? How far can they go?
This team can win a playoff game. I'm going to be bold. I think this team can make an NFC championship run, depending on who we see along the way. Because guess what? After the Cowboys today, I don't care what they did to us. We can beat that team. The Eagles, we can beat that team. The Niners, think about how close we kept it with the Niners earlier this year.
My question for you is why can't they go to the Super Bowl?
I think that's a little bit high, but I think that's shooting a little bit too high. I believe this team could do it. I fully believe that any team in the NFC making the playoffs, the Rams can beat them.
I mean, I think so. I don't look at anybody in this league and think, the Rams would not beat them. They'd beat the Chiefs right now. They could beat the Ravens in a rematch. They could, beat the 49ers. They could beat the Eagles. They could beat Dallas. Maybe not in Dallas.
I'll be bold.
But I think they could beat Dallas in Dallas right now.
The Chiefs. Stafford would tear the Chiefs apart.
I think so. I don't think the Chiefs are very good. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't think there's a single defense in the NFL that can stop Matthew Stafford right now. He tore up the Browns. He tore up the Ravens. Those are both 2 top 5 defenses in football. He tore up the Niners earlier in the season. He's not turning the ball over. Still hasn't fumbled the ball. And next week we get Big Have back. We get Havenstein back.
That was by design. There was no way with a short week and them going against the Commanders, not saying they overlooked them, but there's no way you're going to risk Rob Havenstein. There's no way you're going to risk Tutu Atwell in this game. No way.
And now he's got an extra week. He got an extra week of rest, a little bit less than a week. And then we play on prime time. This team on prime time is going to be nuts. This is a team of young playmakers, and we have even more rookies stepping up. Davis Allen was great today in the little that we saw him. Nick Hampton on that clutch fourth down.
Huge.
Think about that. That could have been game-changing if they would have got that. Nick Hampton's a dog.
Yeah, and he hasn't even played he's been inactive the last 5 weeks. So
I want to see more Nick Hampton if that's what he's bringing to the table.
That was huge. That was Mutombo. That was, insert your favorite shot blocker in the NBA here. I mean, that's what that was.
I would love to see 3 people get re-signed this offseason. I need to see Akello get re-signed. I need to see Kevin Dotson get re-signed. And I need to see Demarcus Robinson get signed. Demarcus Robinson is an absolute dog.
Oh, I mean, people forget Robinson was the wide receiver 1 in Baltimore at the end of last year. He caught a touchdown in the playoffs.
Dude, Demarcus Robinson's had a tud in 3 straight games.
Yeah.
Dude's a dog. And Higbee's starting to get the hands together. Higbee with the toe tap on the sideline.
I thought it was Kupp. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I was like, man, that was graceful for a tight end.
And then I saw, oh my God. This team is getting hot at the best time. If we make it to the playoffs and we're playing like we have since the bye week, there's not a single team that is going to go, we want LA in the playoffs. Not a single team. I saw a Niner fan today saying, I sure as hell hope we don't see Stafford again in the playoffs. Do you know how embarrassing it would be for the 49ers if they lost to the 9-7 Rams? 9-8 Rams?
No, I hear you.
Could you imagine the cope?
I don't know how you ever talk smack again.
Oh my God.
They would find a way. They always do. But I don't know how you would do it.
The 49ers cope, if we beat them in the playoffs, would be better than crack cocaine. Than the purest heroin you could find on the market.
Oh my God. All right, Scoot.
It would be absolutely brutal for MVP Brock Purdy to get annihilated at home against the Rams and washed up Matthew Stafford and injury-prone Cooper Kupp and washed up Aaron Donald and these no-name rookies, Puka Nacua, Kobe Turner, Byron Young. Byron Young had a great game today. He's not going to get talked about. Byron Young had a baller game today.
Hey, I really like the way everyone stepped up. I mean, Darian Kendrick had his moments, of course, but now it's a better way moving forward. You're going to be in front of a national audience on Thursday. You have the best opportunity to turn that thing around.
It's a lot easier to fix your mistakes after a big win.
It's true. That is true. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. Lucas Haversick, he can't miss that field goal in the playoffs, but he was great in Baltimore, to be fair. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Olave didn't even play today, did he?
Yeah, I think he'll play Thursday, but yeah, he didn't play today.
If he's banged up, he's a really hot and cold receiver. That's all I'm gonna say. He's hot and cold. Some games he goes off, and some games he just don't.
Yeah. Well, man, appreciate you as always for calling in, and we'll talk. So next week, just so you guys know, and
yeah,
Scoot,
we'll talk next week after the Rams beat the Saints 43-10 on prime time.
Just so you guys know, I will be doing Bleacher Report first, doing the live stream right after on Bleacher Report. Then I'll come over to YouTube. So that's the arrangement I have with BR next week, right after the game, like kind of a rapid reaction. So 2 live streams next, actually Thursday. So Scoot, thank you as always for coming on, and I'll catch you in the next one, man.
Love you guys. Go Rams. Rams by 50 next week. Let's destroy the Saints.
Sounds good, man. Take care. All right. Well, I told you we needed some energy, and man, Scoot is like a shot in the arm. Like he just, man, the energy is there. Let's go with my guy, Ian. Ian, how we doing?
Hey, what's going on? How do I sound, man?
You sound good, man. You sound like you're ready to talk about the run game and how they ran the ball 27 times to Kyren Williams for over 150 yards.
Rams Nation, aren't you just so happy we have a really, really awesome running back again?
Man, that
Everyone
first
out
run,
there,
the creating.
Give me a horns up in the comments if you love that Kyren Williams, a Rams fan growing up, is one of the best Rams running back of this new era. Think about it. He's been impressive. Obviously, he's not on a Gurley level yet, but his numbers are getting close, and he's missed 4 games. It's really incredible, man.
It really is.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy to see us run the ball with a good running back who is awesome. So good.
No, I'm with you. 5.6 yards per carry today. I also stick with the run here. That reverse it was a reverse, not an end around. To DeMarcus Robinson was like, man, I need that guy with the ball in his hand more.
Dude, and speaking of him, we really smashed the vet minimum contract signings, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Him, Akello, we've obviously talked to me and you, and you've been vocal about it for months now about how he's a top 10 corner. Stats don't lie. Passer rating don't lie. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And then John Johnson getting into shape, him having a lot of good film. Marcus now, who I think should stay as the primary wide receiver 3. I mean, I think Tutu still needs more opportunities. And I say that meaning like more plays that are solely designed for him, because we saw it in those first couple of weeks. He can be a really dang good, explosive, game-changing receiver. Think about the Seahawks game week 1. Think about the Niner game week 2. We've seen it. He's capable of it.
Oh, yeah.
But DeMarcus is just his game is all around. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's made big catches in playoff games. He knows what it takes, and I think that matters for this run that we've been on. And what is that? 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games for him since he's gotten more opportunity. So happy he's on our team.
Oh, yeah. And his thing, and this is why I've actually liked him from afar for a while. Thought he came up huge in that Ravens game, which I think a lot of people forget. That Ravens playoff game, that was closer than it should have been. But that touchdown he had was crazy. And he was the wide receiver 1 at the end of the year for Baltimore. They didn't bring him back, so he's like, all right, I'm going to torch you next week. And sure enough, he had a touchdown. But with him, and because you watch film, the guy is perfect finding the soft spot in the zone. He's got this bigger body.
Yeah,
He's long. Stafford is incredibly accurate on target percentage, everything. But when he does throw outside of his catch radius and tries to lead him, like that's when DeMarcus Robinson's viney arms, if you want to call him, He's just
Yeah.
man, he just sucks it right into his body. I'm really happy they have him. I hope they bring him back again for next year. I don't know if that happens. I think he could get paid depending, but you know,
I think so too.
Yeah, but I mean, if they could bring him back on the cheap, I'm here for it because I think he has a role on this team. And I will say this: I've seen a lot of people like, yeah, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to see Demarcus Robinson go off because what does that mean for Tutu Atwell? I'm a big Tutu Atwell fan. I don't think it means anything. They're different receivers. They're playing different roles. Like, you know, if anything, you might see, you know, Ben Skoranek more likely, you know, just kind of getting pushed out of the offense. It's not Tutu Atwell, you know.
Yeah.
So, and you could also have all 4 receivers on the field at the you could have 5 receivers on the field at the same time. I mean, it's
yep, I'm all for that too.
Yeah, it's not like you're not limited to just one, you know, like 1, 2, 3 receivers. You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of distinction there. But yeah, I mean, you know, talk about this game. Where are you at on the Rams? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I understand it's kind of weird to say this after this game, but I think this is one of the best teams in football currently.
Well, think about it, Jake.
And I think they can win the Super Bowl, by the way. I do. I think they can.
It's not impossible. It's really not impossible, which is insane. Like, not that long ago, we were like, this team is not good. Whether, you know, coaching, personnel decisions, performance on the field, we were like 3
It's like they're a middling team. Their record pretty much matches it. I felt confident they would turn it around, but at the point when we had that conversation, I was like, they're kind of just a middling, you know, middle of the pack team, and the record indicates that. Right now, the record does not indicate how good they are.
No, not at all. And I think obviously Kyron being on IR really screwed this team.
Oh, yes.
Winning a lot of games, right? I mean, we all aware the record is what it is. The yards, the touchdowns, and again, everybody, the fumbles sucked. I don't think it's going to happen again. Dude has been money every time he's gotten the ball. So I think we'll be fine. And I think going forward, we have to continue to feed him. No doghouse, please, Coach McVay. Do not put him in the doghouse for these couple fumbles.
Oh,
please.
Man. I don't think he did.
I don't think he will. I'm just saying, if any Rams personnel people, coaches happen to hear this, listening, please, for the sake of this team's chances to get in the tournament, do not put Kyron in the doghouse. Okay? Because as long as he gets his 20-plus touches, we have an incredible chance to win any game. Seriously. So I think as long as he is getting fed within the game, there's not going to be these blunders where we get into a pass-happy situation. What still pisses me off when we get in the red zone, by the way, because think about it, Jake.
Pass.
I don't know. Yeah, that too. But I don't know if these stats are 100% accurate. But he has under 35 touches within the red zone, carries or, you know, pass catches. He's got like 13, 14 touchdowns in that same touches.
No, he's been incredible. He's
Get
an automatic guy.
Yeah, get him the damn ball when we get in the red zone, and he scores touchdowns. So hopefully they realize that. You know, we got lucky today. I'm happy he scored on his 2-pointer. That was nice. Obviously, the first touchdown was cool. But he just has to get the ball multiple times when we're in the red zone. If that happens, more often than not, we have a great chance to win. But I will say on the flip side, speaking of defense, I'm not happy with how many coverage busts there have been the last few weeks. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning.
That needs to correct itself in a hurry, because if we don't get that fixed, whether it's schematics, communication, which I think it's a combo of all these things, and obviously skill level, Darion got burned a lot. But Scary Terry, the wide receiver for Washington, is really good. I just think that needs to correct itself, because the Saints game will get out of hand if that happens. Chris Olave is a really good receiver. I don't remember if Michael Thomas is hurt or not, but if he's playing, that'll be an issue. They have that. What's that one fast receiver? I'm blanking on his name. Is he number 22? Who is that? I'm getting the number wrong, but he's fast. Anyway, my whole point is,
I don't think he's healthy though. Shaheed.
Okay. Yes, that's who it is. I'm saying we'll be in trouble. We will. You know, Derek Carr, say what you want, but he can launch it. So can Jameis Winston. They connect on those if people are
Oh no, Shaheed played today. My bad.
Okay,
he is back. Yeah. They've been using Lynn Bowden a lot, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I remember
he was a
him.
former Raider, I think. So. Yeah. I think if those things don't get corrected, we have a chance to get burned badly in a game we should win on Thursday, and then obviously the Giants game in New York. So, while the offense has got its issues, the defense has been regressing, and I haven't liked it. But I will say, shout out to Ernest Jones. I thought he had an incredible game today. Really, really good. I felt like he was all over the field. I'm happy that his knee is feeling better because previous games, it was obvious that he was hurt. But anyway, enough negatives. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Happy we won because Jesus. Rams football is stressful, but winning is fun, and I'll take that.
Winning is fun. That's definitely a good way to put it. Just so you know, let's see here. I just wanted to make sure I had this set up. Okay. So if the Rams do have a nightmare scenario where they lose to the Saints, they still have a 78% chance if they win the Giants and 49ers game. If they win out, obviously they get in. There's already some scenarios where they can clinch after the Giants win. So that's very cool. But if they drop the Giants game, it puts them at 95%. And if the 49er game is the game they drop, it puts them at 95%. So really the Saints game is the big one. Like, you don't want to give them a tiebreaker, you know?
Yeah, that would suck.
Because, I mean, they're still dangerous. I mean, I don't want to sit here and discredit a team that has Derek Carr as their quarterback. It's got a bevy of weapons, has a nasty defensive front.
They do.
I mean, Marshawn Lattimore in the back end of the secondary. I don't want to discredit that team, and I'm not going to.
No, they got everyone. They got players. They have good players. It's just the quarterback play is just inconsistent, which is why they're in the same exact place we are. You know, they're being held back by quarterback play. Our quarterback is uplifting us. We're just in the reverse, you know?
Yeah.
And we just got to show up, man, because what a bummer that would be. But we're not there yet. We got to take care of business, just like we talked about last week. Win, and you're in. We control our own destiny, which is what you want in December. Okay.
Exactly. That's all you can ask for. Like, okay, teams would kill right now to be able to control their own destiny and not have to have all these teams. Like, the Rams don't need anything to go their way with other teams now. Like, everything is perfect. It's perfectly set up. If the Rams win out, they're in. It's that simple. You know?
Shout out to Baker.
Oh, he was
Mayfield, former Ram.
The best game of his career.
Yeah,
that was
Baker for
incredible.
Doing us a favor. Thank you, crappy Panthers, for doing us a favor against Atlanta in that 1945 style game, right? 9-7 or something. They won.
Did Jeff Fisher just sneak in there?
Oh Jesus! Thank you, Carolina. I guess you got to wear all black more for wins to come.
Hey, those were fire. To be fair.
And thank you, bizarro version of Joe Burrow, Jake Browning, right? He's got instead of the 9, he's the 6. They kind of look the same a little bit from far away. Thank you, Bengals, for taking care of business, and obviously we did our part. So
man,
yeah, it's on us. It's on us to do it, and I'm happy that things kind of folded the way it did. Everything that needed to happen happened this week.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
you get to say that.
Yeah, it obviously not like everything happened like 100%, you know, but like who cares, right? It's like the most important things happen. Like we could get into like the little bits and pieces and like, oh, well, if the Lions lost to the Broncos, that would have helped the Rams more. But no, in reality, to your point, everything the Rams, it was the most perfect week. Yeah. I'm going to go on record and say this is the most perfect week I've ever seen for a borderline playoff team, you know, like winning your in scenario, right? Like, you know, when you get into these playoff machine scenarios and things, you just don't get like days like this, weeks like this. I mean, week 15 is going to go down in history as like the week if the Rams make a run in the playoffs. I mean, this is what changed the tide, you know?
Yeah. It did, and I know there's so many different playoff simulators. I know you referenced the New York Times a bunch. I know there's ESPN's. I'm sure there's many, many more. But think about how many simulations went down that weren't what happened this past week of football. You know?
Yeah.
Like we're saying. So it's all right. Hey, Rams fans, whatever your game day ritual was today. Let's just keep that up, all right? If anyone's superstitious out there, whatever you wore, whatever hat you had on, your jersey, whatever you did before and after the game, let's just keep that going to keep the good Rams juju going. But I will say though,
So I got to rock the Freddy Krueger sweater every time the Rams play now.
I guess so, man. Whatever you did today, Jake, might as well just do it again on Thursday.
That's funny.
Against a game we got to win. But I will say though, I hope we get in. This season's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun. It's been so much fun, man. And gosh, I know the Super Bowl season, there was just so much weight on the team and probably us as fans. You just felt that pressure of like, this team is great. We got to win a championship. I think when there's not expectations, the season ends up just being more fun and relaxed because, Jake, we all went into it thinking this team, maybe not you, but I thought and thinking, all right, we'll see what happens. We're probably not going to be good, but if it ends up being that way, that'll be fun. And it's been that way. That's awesome. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I had them going 10-7, but I knew this wasn't the win, like the all-in type of season or anything like that. So, when you have a season like that, I think it kind of, attaches you more to the players to watch them grow, to just see a Kobe Turner, starting to really ascend, to see Byron Young getting better, to see these young corners doing what they're doing, young safeties, so forth. Just watching Quentin Lake grow up, it's been fun to watch. He's been great. He missed most of last year. I remember when he was taken off IR, people were like, wait, he's still on the team? I forgot about him. But like Kyron Williams, 5th rounder, Puka Nacua, watching Cooper Kupp battle all the naysayers, like, oh, this guy just had 5 or whatever. I think it's 6 straight games of under 50 yards. And now back-to-back games, he's got over 100. I just love to see that aspect of it. Like, I like that finally it just feels like, okay, like even like Stafford's numbers are starting to go back to kind of how they should be. I mean, 21-9 feels more what we've seen. And I feel really only the record at 7-7 just feels off because, I mean, let's be honest here. Like, this team could easily be a 10-win team right now. I mean,
easily.
That's the thing is that, your record is your record, and that's true. But the beauty about late, December football or mid-December football is that what you are right now is likely what you are heading into the playoffs going to be. And that's the fascinating thing. Obviously, we've seen teams deviate away from it a little bit. But, I mean, you look at the 49ers back the year, the Rams beat them in the NFC title game. That 49ers team wasn't in the playoffs. They had to win Week 18 to get in. People forget that. If the Rams beat them, 49ers aren't in the playoffs.
I know. It's crazy. And I think, Jake, with that scenario, I remember all those not all those. I remember that 2007 Giants team that beat the perfect Patriots. That team wasn't good the whole season.
No.
And then win a couple games you need to win to get in the tournament, and look what happened. They went on this magical run, and obviously Eli played really great, and their defense played phenomenal. But it's possible, man. All you need to do is get in the tournament, and no matter how many losses you had before, how many wins you accumulated, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
0-0 when January hits, which is why we tease Cowboy fans and we tease other fan bases, right? NFL fans, because it doesn't matter anymore. You're in the tournament. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that also goes the other way as well, and that's I mean, I know that being a Kansas Jayhawk fan and March Madness, it's like they either win or they get upset by some obscure team in the second round or third round. But, that's just the way it is. And that's the postseason for you. And it's all about really the regular season is judgment time to get you into the postseason. And the postseason is a clean slate. And, okay, yes, there's home field advantage and seedings and things like that. But for the most part, everyone is at equal footing, I mean, obviously, there are injuries and things that you can't control. But for the most part, based on what you can control, this is equal footing. Everyone has a 0-0 record. Everyone has the same shot of making the Super Bowl. You know, obviously there are teams that get buys. 2 teams get buys, which maybe I'm not as much of a fan of, the fact that they got rid of a first round bye as well from the 2 seeds. But, you know, no big deal there. But you know, I think, you know, that's the beauty about the postseason, is that this is all just, I mean, there's no committee, you know, there's no committee to put you in the playoffs. You decide on your own. So it's up to you. End of the day, I think the Rams right now, I mean, you know, they get to play one last game at SoFi Stadium and then get a mini bye, which I think people aren't talking about anywhere near as much as they should. Look at what the Rams did with a bye week.
Yeah, what great timing too.
I know.
End of December, it's great timing. The schedule makers have screwed us a ton with how many teams we've played off a bye.
Absolutely.
Including Washington this today, which is insane. Wasn't it, Jake? Washington for this game, Baltimore last week came off a bye, Packers off a bye. Who else was it? I'm forgetting people. Seahawks off a bye. I think there was. Is there one more I'm blanking on?
Wasn't they're 0 they're 1-3 against teams off a bye. This is the first game that they beat a team off a bye. They lost to the Steelers.
Steelers too.
Yeah, they lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Ravens, and then I'm blanking on the other team.
I want to say it was Seahawks.
Packers, I think it was.
And Packers. So, come on, NFL, New York out there.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
I know, but like, oh my God.
No, I mean, they know what they're doing. Like,
yeah.
I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
I hope Stan Kroenke gives them a nice call at the end of the season and be like, okay.
Oh, it wasn't the Packers. It was the Cowboys. That great. So the team that is virtually unbeatable the last 3 years at home, and you gave them a bye too while we're at it.
Yeah. So,
unreal.
We got screwed, but for this mini bye to be coming up on the flip side of the coin, that's good for our players who. Hey man, everyone's beat up at this time of year, so it'll be good to get that rest. And I hope Okello's okay. I know he had some growing tightness, which is why Darion gets smoked a lot, sadly. You know, I hope Rob Havenstein will be fully ready to go off his growing, which I think he should be okay. I heard that he was going to push to play today, so it makes sense to hold him out. We got it done. And I just hope we're as healthy as possible, man, for the Saints game, because we're going to need everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. But, Ian, appreciate you, man. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on, of course, but
I know, can't we?
You know, but no, appreciate you as always. And I'm doing 2 live streams. So after the Bleacher Report stream, I'll be on here after the Saints game. Hopefully we're talking about a win. God, I don't even want to think about a loss right now. That would ruin everything. But, yeah, you know, we'll talk then, and appreciate you as always, man.
Yes, sir, man. Always good talking. And remember, everybody, run the ball. Good things happen. just wish for that, and we'll get in the tournament. All right, guys. Peace.
I appreciate it, man. Take it easy. All right. So let me read, because it was weird. I was seeing your super chats come up, but it wasn't showing the text. So I brought up a separate video, a tab, so I could see it. Appreciate everyone, by the way. Jason, thank you so much for the 10. Stafford versus Goff in the playoffs. The curse of Bobby Lane revisited. A win is a win, correct, and get ready for Thursday. Kicker and DK are done possibly. I don't know necessarily if DK and Lucas are done. I would probably say no, they're not. I think they'll get another crack at it. DK has had his moments. You know, I don't think they're going to bench him. They could. It's certainly possible. Lucas is not losing his job. I understand he missed the field goal. He's not losing his job, so I feel pretty good about that. Thanks again, Jason, for the 10. Matthew, thank you so much for the 10. What's up, Jake? I was enjoying a chocolate mint coffee listening to the game. That sounds really good. Love chocolate mint. All of a sudden, with 8 minutes, I'm thinking of adding Southern Comfort. Brissett was the last person I wanted to see. Yeah, Brissett, man, it's kind of a reminder, like, why the hell is that guy a backup? If you don't think Brissett can play in this league, I don't even know what to tell you at this point. Man, he can really throw that deep ball down the field. Those bucket throws. He's underrated, man. He's underrated. He had that injury against the Steelers back when he was on the Colts and wasn't really the same. So I've always liked him, respected him from afar. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he gets a shot. We'll see. MAS Boxing, appreciate the 5. Allen tight end is now and future. That man is a dog. Rams going to win out. The McVay loving to win is back and got the team to believe. It's true. He does seem to have the locker room believing, week in and week out. I mean, this team looks like they don't go into a game not prepared. Certainly things will show up and maybe they're developing bad habits in certain key areas, like the secondary with those, those uncharacteristic, lapses in coverage, those coverage busts. But for the most part, he has this team really, killing it. So there's that. Hilltop, appreciate the 2. Robinson stepped up the way we wanted Jefferson to. Robinson's looked really good. Appreciate the 2. Hunter, appreciate the 10 there. Jake, whose house? Appreciate that, man. Chacho Pichardo, what's up, Chach? Thank you for the 2, my friend. Jake, great win for the Rams. Appreciate it. They really needed that one. Monty, thank you for the 5. What's going on, my brother Jake and Ramley in the chat? We control our own destiny from here. Hell yeah, man. Matthew, thank you for the 2. Is it just me or does this guy have a TV voice? Yeah, Ian's got a good voice, man. I don't know. Yeah, he needs to do more content for sure. Like, Ian knows what he's talking about. Trust me. All right. Anyway, let's get into it. So, now that I read all the super chats, and sorry for the delay. You guys have been here for now an hour, so I should have read that sooner, but I just saw it. All right, I'm gonna bring Jack on. Jack, how's it going?
Funny timing that you would bring me in after you talk about people with good voice. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this dude's got a golden voice. Like I don't know what it is, but Jack, you got a good voice.
I'm just goofing around. That was like the one of the first things you said to me when we first played Call of Duty. So.
It's like, oh damn, this guy's got a good voice. It's like, all right, that's a weird thing to say, but go off.
Nah, it was a good win today. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I feel like there's a lot of negative things that a lot of people are going to bring up, and I think it's fair. There are some fair criticisms for sure, as there almost always is. I mean, rarely do you get like a flawless game in the NFL, but
oh yeah,
that's just the nature of the league. But I'm just gonna focus on the positive. Like, why not? We're back in the playoff picture. We're right there in the hunt. If we get a win against New Orleans next week on the short week, I think we're gonna be in a great spot. I've constantly been saying that those last 3 games were big because the Rams, or maybe not the last 3 games, maybe like 3 of the last 4 because I forgot about Baltimore. But we should have beaten Baltimore too. Like, that's just. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that were saying that this team was going to tank, and I just want their reactions right now because this team is not tanking in the slightest. If you thought they were tanking after these last few games, you're just dead wrong.
Yeah, exactly. You just, it's so funny. And I could go the realm of when we've talked about it. I mean, I could go the route of just going, oh yeah, told you so. But in reality, I mean, I'm just enjoying it. I'm not going to waste my time saying told you so. I'll let other people point that out, which seems to be happening. Like, a lot of people are tagging me on Twitter like, oh, when everyone was down on this team, Jake was not. Jake said this, Jake said that. I think it's better to just let other people talk about it instead of you just,
I know, right?
Saying it. Yeah, right. I'm too busy to
let the other people let you know when you're right, and like you just like enjoy being a fan. Like, that's what I always tell people. You're never going to enjoy being a fan if you're constantly focused on, oh, this went wrong, that went wrong, yada yada. Like, you're a fan because you enjoy the game of football.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, that was some of the most fun 1:00 football I've ever watched.
Oh my God.
To be able to have those many things that, you're rooting for and the different, implications playoff wise, just so big, just you look at that Tampa game is huge. I mean, they win that game, and now, the Falcons lose. Tampa is going to, hopefully secure that 4 spot not only that, I'm rooting for them at this point, for the way they came through. Good luck to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, you're not going to get any hate from me. Big fan of Baker. He played his tail off today.
I think he was the first quarterback in, 10 years or something like that? I don't even know if it was that long, but like he was the first guy in a long time to put up a perfect passer rating at Lambeau.
That's crazy. He was unbelievable today. That is
the
best. That's easily the best game of his career.
Yeah.
I don't even know what would be even close to that. I mean, I've watched him for a while. I don't know, man. He was seeing the field perfectly, and it's not easy to go to Lambeau. It's just not in December, and just the way he was able to play in that environment. Hats off to him. Hats off to Rashad White, who just continues to get better. The defense forcing some plays there, and yeah, Tampa getting a huge win on the road. Most importantly, the Packers now. By the way, what really started this was Mr. Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito.
I mean, I'll tell you that right now. No one really felt like the Giants were going to win that game, and then you're watching the game, and you're like, the Giants better win this game. Like that was the shift. It was like going into it, I'm like, I'm not sitting here. I'm not going to watch it. I did end up watching it. And I just came away with, wow, the Giants are just absolutely outplaying them. This game shouldn't be close. Then you have the Saquon Barkley, huge run, falls down, trips, the ball comes out. It happens as soon as he hits the ground, but they say it doesn't matter because he tripped. God, get rid of that rule. That is incredibly stupid. But the Packers got gifted the ball. They had a huge opportunity, and the Giants went down the field and kicked the game-winning field goal, and that set everything up. Because the Packers, in less than a full week, have lost 2 straight and are now 6-8. And if they lose another one, man, they're not good.
They're probably done if they lose another one. I don't think they're mathematically out just yet, but like if they fall to 6-9 now, I think 6-8, whatever. It's it just becomes that much harder. That's what I love about this league, because the season is so short. Like I know it kind of sucks that the season's short, but at the same time, that just means there's as little margin for error as possible. And you can see like the tide shift every week, every single game, even the ones that you don't think matter. Even when you go back and you look at on like the other end of the standings and like who's in the race for like the first overall pick or like a higher draft pick or whatever it is. That's just what makes the NFL so fun. You can physically see the tide changing with every single result that comes through. It's incredible.
It really is. I mean, the margin for error is so slim. And it's just what's crazy to me is, you go through the Packers, and I mean, I kind of felt like they were getting a little overrated. Kind of same with the Vikings, honestly. 2 teams that got hot. But I mean, look at who they played against. I think that's the thing that I think is the key here. I mean, they beat the Bears, right? So the Packers went 1-0. Then they lose to the Falcons in Atlanta, which that game could really kill them if you think about it. The Saints game, they beat them 18-17. They knocked Derek Carr out of the game in the first half. They barely won that game. Detroit, they lose 34-20. They lose at Vegas 17-13. They lose at Denver 19-17. I think that was the first game off of giving up 70 points. Then they lose to the Vikings 24-10. They beat the Rams mainly because Brett Rippon is playing. And then the Steelers beat them, So
I don't know if you saw that comment I left in your chat that said if the Rams didn't go into a game unprepared, then Brett Rippon wouldn't have started.
Exactly. So, you look at that, and then their 3-game win streak, which that's the thing. Like, were they really that hot? I mean, they had a 3-game win streak against the Chargers, who just fired their head coach, the Lions by 7 on Thanksgiving, where, let's be honest here, does Jared Goff fumble 4 times every game? I mean, that game is kind of weird. It's also a rivalry game and everything. And then they beat the Chiefs, who I don't think the Chiefs are that good. I've said that. Like, I don't think the Chiefs are that good of a football team. So,
no.
Then they lose to the Giants 24-22, and then they lose by 14 to the Bucs at home. Now you got the Panthers coming up. You go to Carolina. You should beat them handily. Then you have the Vikings, in Minnesota, and then you got the Bears. Like, I'm not convinced they win 2 of those 3 games. I mean, I could see the Vikings stealing that game. I could see the Bears stealing week 18. You know, I mean, I know it's at Lambeau, but that Bears team, they played a really, really tough Browns team in Cleveland down to the wire. That team has been unbelievable at home. And the Bears went there and they played really tough. Defense is playing well, you know, Justin Fields and everything. So we'll see, man. But I don't really like, that was one thing I did a little bit more this week when I was making my picks. I was like, really, like, I understand the Lions aren't playing that well, but I had to be in the Denver Broncos because I was like, the Broncos' biggest one was against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs played that game with Patrick Mahomes having the flu. You know, I don't even think the Chiefs are that good regardless. So then, you know, you look at the Vikings and you're like, okay, well, you know, what about the Vikings? And I had the Bengals winning that game, even with Jake Browning. When I saw Jake Browning ball out against the Jaguars, I was pretty certain, okay, they're going to win that game. Now, to be fair, their defensive coordinator, Flores, is, you know, he's balling out. Like, that is a big reason why the Vikings are in those games. But, like, Jack, look, I mean, they won, 5 in a row? They won 5 in a row.
Something like that.
They beat Chicago right around the time where Chicago was having all that turmoil, and I'm almost positive they played against Tyson Bagent. They beat him by 6 with Kirk Cousins. Then they beat the 49ers back with their losing streak, right? I don't believe McCaffrey played, Purdy played, but I think Debo and Trent
was
Williams
out for that game.
out.
I don't know about Trent Williams. I know Debo was out.
Green Bay, they beat them 24-10. I don't think Green Bay is that great. They beat the Saints 27-19, but then after that, they've lost 3 of their last 4. Their one win, they won 3-0 to the Raiders, who just scored over 60 points. I mean, the Bengals overtime loss, 12-10. They lost to Chicago at home, and then they lost to Denver. Close games, sure, and Nick Mullins throwing the most yards in a game since back in week 3 with Kirk Cousins. Sorry, week 7 it looks like with Kirk Cousins, but still, I mean, they got Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit. If Detroit wins next week against the Vikings, the Rams win, it just gets really, really interesting moving forward. So
it does, yeah.
Can't wait. The Rams are clearly the best of those 3 teams between the Packers and Vikings and Rams. I mean, I don't think it's really
so
close.
frustrating that they didn't go for Carson Wentz earlier. Like, we just keep saying it, but it's true. If they have Carson Wentz or anyone that's like slightly better than Brett Rippon, they win that game going away.
Yeah, they have Kyron
especially
Williams
with the way
for the Steelers game. They probably win that game.
It probably won't happen, but I kind of like, part of me, like, I actually don't even think that there's a way that this can happen, but part of me kind of wants like a Rams Packers rematch in the playoffs, because I feel like at full strength we would clown those guys, but yeah, no, it is what it is, and I think that's the important thing for the Rams, is that they're just taking care of business now when they need to be. So
yeah, no,
that's the big thing for me.
I hear you, man. Do you have any final thoughts before I bring on well, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people waiting. So
yeah, I'll say one more thing and then get out of your hair.
No, you're not in my hair. You know what I mean.
I know, I get you. I'm just goofing off.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is back. If you didn't think he was back, I think his performance last week and then today, I think Cooper Kupp is back for sure. You can't say that he was being like really limited by anything. I know the hamstring was an issue for a little bit. He played out of his mind today. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that Demarcus Robinson too involved in the receiving game in a bigger role. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of these guys, and it's happening at the right time of the year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I like what I'm seeing as well. This team's hot. You know, obviously we'll see how they finish it out, but gotta feel good about, you know, the future with this team. They feel ahead of schedule as well, just based on, if you're listening to everybody else, of course, they feel ahead of schedule. But we'll see, sure, man. Appreciate you as always, and we'll have to game a little bit, you know, later this week.
For sure, we'll figure out some time. And we got a little bit more time now that we're playing on Thursday, so we'll see.
That is true. That is true. I might look at that as a mini buy for me. Probably not. I'll probably still be making plenty of content, but you get my point.
You uploaded a video like during the Rams game. That's how I know like you're in the zone for sure. So
I'm in the zone, auto zone. You know how it is.
All right, Jake, I'll let you go. See you later. Right. Or I guess you'll let me go.
All right, yeah. Later, Jack.
Later.
Okay. Chat, appreciate y'all. I see you guys on Kick. I see you guys on YouTube. It means a lot. The fact I still have over 550 people in here. We've gone over an hour and 15. The Sunday Night Football game's still on. Like, I appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. Just the amount of like support, I guess, is the word to put. This is fun though. I enjoy this. I mean, make no mistake about it. It's work. Don't get me wrong. Content's work. Just because it's work doesn't mean it can't be fun. I love doing this. Obviously, it's a lot more fun when the Rams, they win. But I realize that obviously going into this profession, you're never going to have a team that wins every single game. So, yeah. All right, let's I don't know. Let's bring on Ray. I missed Coach Ray last time. Let's bring on Coach Ray because last time I definitely missed Coach. How you doing, Ray? Oh, I guess he didn't want to be in. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's try it again.
Hey, sorry about that.
No worries.
It said join voice, and I did, and I got booted.
Okay, yeah, it's funny because on my screen it's just like it looks like you ran away from me. So
no, it wasn't by design. No.
Oh yeah, because last week I tried to have you on or something. I forget what it was. You might have been in a channel that wasn't part of it. I don't remember, but it didn't work out, and so I felt bad. So I wanted to have you on as one of the first people to come on.
Oh yeah, no, excellent. Good win. A little scary at the end, but overall good win.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, super excited. We have a short week coming up against New Orleans, and then followed by the Giants. Hopefully, we can just take care of our own business. Don't depend on anybody. I think we had everything play out the way we wanted it to play, right? We got, a Green Bay loss. We got a Atlanta loss. We got a Minnesota loss. So really, I mean, I think we control our own destiny.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I've done pick'em I've never gotten every game right on for an NFL week.
Yeah.
My pick'em currently I'm at 12-2 for the week. And
wow, that's impressive.
My two misses. I've never gone 14-2, so I have a shot. I got the Ravens and I got the Eagles, but my two misses were let's see, the Jets. I thought the Jets would win without Tyreek Hill. That blew up in my face, and the Titans. So I mean, I thought I did pretty well.
Bad. Hey, I mean, if we were 12-2, or we're not. If we were 12-2 right now, I think we'd be sitting pretty, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you there. Yeah, I just it's funny. When I put out my picks, I had some people say you're just hoping, but I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Panthers are winning today. They're overdue for a win. They're not as bad as and trust me, they're not great. It's hard to watch the team.
Right.
But they don't exemplify what a 1-win team is.
Right.
Like I've seen 1-win teams where yep, that checks out.
Right.
But they have they still have guys like Thielen, and you have to imagine Bryce Young. And sure enough, that was the biggest, I think, in my opinion, that was the biggest moment of his young career to go 95 yards down the field.
Well, that was very impressive.
And win the game. And I understand it wasn't a touchdown. It wasn't a touchdown on purpose. I mean, you don't think they could have scored? I saw people holding that against Bryce. I was like, no, you don't want to give him the ball back.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
so
when the other team cannot score if you're holding the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. So 7% picked on ESPN Pick'em, and I went with the Panthers.
That's impressive. That's very good.
I went with the Panthers. I went with the Bucks. I had a really good feeling about the Bucks today. Like
the Bucks dominated.
I had the Packers up until yesterday, and I had this thought to myself. I was like, you know what? I keep hearing how, man, if the Bengals blow this in overtime, it's just an omen that the Rams aren't going to make the playoffs. And I was like, well, what about if they do win in overtime? Right. And I felt like they were going to. After they won, I was like, you know what? I was already 50-50 on that game, kind of just decided to go with the home team. But I was like, you know what? I don't think the Packers were that good. I don't.
No.
And I just broke it down, with the last guest that I had, Jack. Mm-hmm. And I just broke down their schedule. And I'm like, who have they really played?
Not many good teams. No,
they didn't play the Rams at full strength. They got lucky. No. They didn't have to play Stafford. They lose that game 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah, I thought Stafford had he was really slinging it today. I thought. The ball had a lot of zip coming out of his hand.
He's been incredible.
He looked really good to me.
Yeah.
So
since the bye, I understand that Seahawks game's kind of weird. That's an outlier game. 17-16. That's what happens when you don't have Kyren Williams. I think they made all these adjustments, maybe a little prematurely, in the Seattle game. They made all these adjustments coming out of the bye, and I think they probably realized that we're not going to be able to really run the offense we want to run until Kyren's healthy. And we saw that instantaneously. Just looking at Kyren's body of work, where would you rank him right now in the NFL in terms of running backs?
Well, I think he's number 2. Behind McCaffrey, as far as I'm concerned.
As of right now, I would say so.
I'm not. He's putting the same body of work. I consider Kyren a poor man's McCaffrey.
Yeah, man, I wish he was the receiver McCaffrey is, but he's still got plenty of time. He's still got plenty of time. But
the only thing I would say is today, hopefully this is not an omen for something, later down the line.
Yeah.
But he's got to protect the ball. He can't give up the rock.
Yeah.
Can't drop the ball.
It's something that we really haven't seen much of with him.
No, we haven't. We haven't.
Going back to Notre Dame, he did fumble. He had a little bit of a fumbling issue, but I think he's done a nice job of cleaning that up. And I think really what it comes down to is, just end of the day, this team, when they're going up against a Commanders team and you have this guy that's really feeling it, and Kyren was feeling it. That was almost a career high game in rushing yards. I feel like when you're just feeling it, you kind of get a little too carried away. Like you could see he's making cuts that maybe he wouldn't have made if it was like against a Ravens team. But you could kind of see like, okay, I have a chance to really eat in this game. So it's
he, like you've said before. Kyren is the engine.
Yeah.
I think that we go as far as Kyren will take us. So I think the balance that we've been able to establish with Kyren and Stafford, and the crew of receivers that we got going, I really like what I'm seeing out of Robinson right now. I'm liking the direction I'm liking what the offense is putting out there right now.
I am too. Yeah, I really am too. You mentioned keyword balance. I don't know how many throws Stafford had today. I can tell you Kyren had 27 carries, that's, I can't imagine. Yeah, he completed 25 of his 33 passes. So, to me, that's balance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You don't want to see 50 attempts to 10 runs, No. So, Kyren, since the bye, he's had 16, 21, 25, 27. That's an adjustment. You got to give McVay credit. That's an adjustment. He went from 15, 14, 10, 25, 13, 20 to then 16, 21, 25, 27. So he just had a career high carries. His second most yards in a game, his second 150-yard game this year, his third game over 140 yards. And if you're following, he's had 5 of his 10 games this year. So half of his games, he's got over 100 yards. He's kind of just excellent. Automatic.
That's excellent. Like I said, our offense is so much better when we have a running attack. Back when we had Gurley, we were unstoppable with the running and the passing. they couldn't stack the blocks because they pass over the top. If they didn't stack the box, we'd run with Gurley. So I mean, we have a lot of flashbacks to what we have right now.
Yeah, no, it's been so fun to watch him run because he looks so confident. You could see, and they're kind of feeding off it as well. So it's perfect, combo there. But yeah, I gotta ask you though. I would assume at this point, I was asking week in, week out, do you think this team makes the playoffs? Right now, they currently are favorited to make the playoffs in the 7th seed. How far can this team go? Because I don't know if you heard me earlier. I do think, again, can is kind of a bigger word. But I'll say this. I really do believe that they can win a Super Bowl because I don't think anybody has really separated themselves in this league. Even at times we've seen, you could throw on the 49ers, the Ravens, we thought you couldn't throw on them, and then the Rams did it. The Ravens we thought were unbeatable on the road, and then the Rams, really should have beat them. I mean, they did a great job in that game. You've seen teams like Buffalo where if they get hot, like a James Cook and everything, they could be a problem. You've seen teams like Detroit where when they're on, they're really on, but that defense just still, there's not a team that really separates. I mean, we've seen Dallas get blown out multiple times against good teams on the road. It's just, I'm not sitting here like, man, there's a David versus Goliath out there versus the Rams. I mean, I'm not saying the Rams are Goliath, but they sure as hell ain't David.
Well, I mean, I think they proved that last week when they, went toe to toe with, I think, what many believe is going to be the Super Bowl AFC, contender, right, for Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
they went toe to toe with a team like that in their house, and if they had a couple of bounces one way or the other, they would have won that game. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that your comment about Super Bowl is that far removed. I think any given Sunday, any team can win, and I think you could probably include the Rams in that conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I had them going 10-7 on the season, I said that they would win I think I had them getting to the divisional round and losing to the Lions. That's what I had them.
Okay.
I had them winning the wild card game against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Because I had them as the 5th seed and the Panthers as the 4. Bryce Young didn't end up making the strides I thought he was going to make. Obviously, the coaching staff, I didn't expect them to have a firing midseason. But the same thing, Rams 10-7, going to the divisional round. That's kind of what I've always had. So, but they're better than I expected them to be at this point in the season, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone, given what kind of turnover we had on defense, the offense, I think for the most part was kind of pretty much intact. But I mean, we made some serious wholesale changes on defense, and we've been able to hold our own. I mean, the defense is not perfect, but the defense has kept us in a lot of games throughout the year. So, yeah, I mean, I think, me personally, I think Super Bowl for me is a little bit of a stretch, but I think I can see us in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, this season reminds me so much of, and I hope it doesn't end the same way. I wouldn't want to be like winning one and you're done in the playoffs, but it reminds me so much of 2017, how I was like, this team could win a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to, but they're capable. And obviously some things happened in 2017 and they unfortunately got a little bit exposed at times. And then the Ravens game, the Falcons game, they really were just missing that experience, that going up against a team that had already been in the Super Bowl, been there, done that. I mean, they really were outclassed in the experience realm. Were they more talented than the Falcons? Absolutely. But when Michael Brockers went down with that injury, they didn't really respond the best in the second half. They had opportunities too. Young tight end Tyler Higbee in his 2nd season dropping that touchdown. But I kind of feel like it's that team just with more experience, kind of similar. That team won 11 games. This team, I think, can win 10. I have them winning out. I think they're going to beat the Niners. I don't know if the Niners are going to play the starters or not, but I think they're beating the Niners regardless. I just think this
Well,
team, they're on a roll right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I would say that I wouldn't want that game against the Niners to mean anything.
Yeah.
I would want it to, I would want them to kind of wrap it up in the next couple of weeks. Basically, I feel like they have kind of control of their destiny, right? I think, certainly if they win out, I think I think teams are going to be very hard pressed to, I don't know if you went through those scenarios if they were to win out, but I think if we were to win out now with all the losses, I think I don't know what percentage you had, quoted in your video, but it must be pretty high.
Yeah. So right now, if they were to win out,
yeah,
oh, it's 100%. They control their own destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 96% if they beat the Giants and the Saints.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely. I would just say they focus on those next 2 weeks, and hopefully that last game is meaningless, right? Just to kind of get playoff position, I guess, maybe to some degree. But I would love for them to get, be in that 96% range, at the end of the week there against, was it the Giants, right?
Yeah.
I would love to be in that kind of position going into the week, and then you can maybe even potentially rest some folks before you go into the playoffs.
Yeah, isn't that funny? That'd even be in play. This so right now New York Times has updated it with a win against the Commanders, so I don't have to actually plug it in. 56% is the percentage. If the Rams get help from the Eagles, Seahawks fall to 6-8, so their ceiling is 9-8. The Rams' ceiling is 10-7. That goes up to 60%. If the Rams then beat the Saints week 16, that goes up to 80% without playing the rest of week 16. So, interesting stuff. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think anyone maybe 3 weeks ago would have thought that we'd be talking this way about how high our percentage would be and to make the playoffs. So, kudos to the Rams and kudos to you and all the others who believed.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, to get it to 80% leaving Thursday Night Football, going into the Sunday and having that mini bye, that would be huge. The next Rams game I would actually be at, by the way, because I'll be at the Giants game. I'm going to try. I saw someone ask, actually, it was a super chat, so I'm going to answer this. So, CT Rams fan, appreciate the two. Thursday in-game stream Jet Life on New Year's Eve. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work because I don't know how good the connection's going to be.
Yeah.
But I do want to go live.
Oh, okay.
I won't be able to have people on because I don't, that's way too complicated for me to stream that on a phone.
Yeah.
But
that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool if you were live inside MetLife for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's certainly something possible. I could go live. I mean, I'm thinking after the game, but I'm also thinking it might be a little delayed because I want to meet up with some people, on the Rams and so forth. So, I mean, we'll play it by ear.
I whatever you end up doing, we'll be around for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get back by, I think 9 p.m. Eastern time. So maybe I do a late show.
How long of a drive is that for you from Pennsylvania?
So I'm in New York.
Oh, New York, sorry.
No, you're fine. And then that's at MetLife or Jet Life. It's funny. He said Jet Life. I love it. So that would be 2.5 to 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where I am in New York, of course, because I mean, depending on, I could be across the water and but yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, I always go to those MetLife games. Bryce Petty versus Case Keenum.
Oh, okay.
Alec Ogletree game sealing interception.
Oh wow.
That the player of the game in that one was Johnny Hecker. Just some of the craziest punts I've ever seen. Yeah. And then I was at the 51-17 beatdown when Geno Smith came in for Eli. That was the 3rd and 33 screen to Robert Woods that went for a huge touchdown. Then a bomb to Sammy Watkins in the freezing I almost said freezing rain, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. It was pretty much freezing rain. So it was brutal. And I just remember thinking, man, small hands Goff, right? I thought this guy would have fumbled a ton in this awful weather, but sure enough, he threw 4 touchdowns and looked great. And I was at the Giants game in the Super Bowl season. The Darrell Henderson 2-touchdown game. Caught a back shoulder fade in the end zone over Tay Crowder on a wheel route. I know I'm turning into Sean McVay right now with the play recognition, but no, I mean I have some recall, but if you ask me like, oh, what was this actor in this movie, I'd be like, I can't. My brain just absolutely like just disintegrates at that point. But no, I've been to those games. I went to Gillette Stadium when Mark Bulger went up against. Oh man, I've actually never seen Tom Brady. Mark Bulger versus Matt Castle.
Oh, okay.
Donnie Avery had a huge touchdown catch in that one.
Yeah.
Never saw Steven Jackson. Every time I went to a Rams game,
you never saw
hurt.
Steven Jackson? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? He might have been in the Bills game. I was also the Bills game, playoff machine era of St. Louis Rams football, where you're just hoping, if we just win this game, we just need this team, and this team to lose. We also need these 2 teams to tie. And it was like, oh God, we're rooting for a tie now. This is a good. Yeah. But that was the one touchdown Brandon Gibson to win the game. That was crazy. I think that was against Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's always been the thing. Like if they come around here, if they're at Jet Life or they're at Gillette. I heard the laugh there. If they're at either one of those, I'll show up. I haven't been to an LA Rams game, like in LA, since 2019, right before the pandemic. I saw them. They played the Saints. It was that crazy touchdown that they called back. It was at the 1, but crazy play, Cooper Kupp, where like Robert Woods blocked 3 guys on that play.
Right.
And it was also the one where Drew Brees tore his UCL in his thumb.
Oh,
and
really?
Teddy Bridgewater came in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember that. Teddy Bridgewater came in, and oh my God, it was week 2, I think. So it was early in the year. And this is like right after the Super Bowl. Not long. Yeah, it was like right after the Super Bowl. So they were still upset about the NFC title game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. So like the Saints fans just kept saying like we were robbed, and it was just funny because like the Rams just beat the crap out of them in that game, and it was just like, so are you gonna complain about that too, or?
Right.
And then like afterwards they were upset. It's like, oh, you injured our quarterback, we could have won, and it was like, oh my God, Excuseville.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's funny, and actually it was funny today because they had brought up the last time the Rams played Washington was in LA in 2017, and that I was at that game. I saw Sean McVay's first ever loss. So
oh wow, yeah. Well, thankfully that didn't happen today.
Yeah,
I was a little scared there at the end, but
yeah, because I mean we've seen that stuff go sideways. I mean, Jets game. Week 15.
It kind of had the feel. It kind of had the feel to the Indianapolis game, right?
It was giving me Jets game vibes at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think so. I feel good, but it's in there. It's in my mind. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like you never know. That's why you got to appreciate any win, not assume.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's another thing. Like my brother's like, oh, this game's over. I'm like, it's 28-14, and they have the ball. Driving down the field. I don't think it's over. So
no.
Yeah, it's just a reminder you can never take these wins for granted.
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to pedal to the metal until the whistle blows, right?
Yeah. I think they took their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, if you ask me. But I also think the problem is a lot of, with Sean McVay and company, a lot of it will get called bad play calling, or will get, and I think we don't put enough blame on when players just don't execute. And I think there's a lot of just poor execution in the NFL. And it's a lot more than just, oh, that was a bad play call. Because who even knows if it's a bad play call? I mean, I could say, yeah, in that sense, would I have run the ball there? Like Washington had 2 straight QB sneaks. That was incredibly stupid. Those are bad play calls. But when it's this really convoluted passing play and the guy runs the wrong route and it's poorly executed, how do I know what the play call truly was? You know what I'm saying? It's yeah.
Well, I mean, the coaches always take too much of the credit and too much of the blame, right? So
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the players who execute on the field that determines the wins or losses. So,
no, absolutely, man. But Coach, appreciate you. I'm glad I got you on this week. Felt bad
absolutely.
I missed you.
Thank you for having me. Let's not have a little letdown against New Orleans from the short week. That's my little
please, dear God. So, oh man,
definitely go Rams, and let's take care of the Saints on Thursday.
Sounds like a plan. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right, you take care.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was Coach Ray. Thank you again for calling in, as always. Let's see. We got Tommy Cutlets. Let's see here. Tommy Cutlets. Will.
What's going on, Jake? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, bro. I'm feeling great.
You should.
Yep.
Anything other than great is the wrong feeling, my guy.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more.
You came on here, I think the last time I talked to you, you were pretty sure they were going to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I called in after the Packers game when we actually lost to go 3-6, and I told you I still felt good about the playoffs, and here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely in that boat with you. I feel like there's only 17 games. It's easy to be reactionary. It's easy to say this guy is trash, this guy sucks, the NFL hates us, all this, but when you're able to get to just going into week 16, being one of the top 7 teams in the playoff hunt, actually in the playoffs if the season ended, I mean, that's a huge thing. That's a huge feat. It doesn't matter that you're 7-7 or you're doing it at 5-9. All that matters is that's how it would be if the season ended. So that's great to see. How are you feeling about this upcoming Saints game?
I feel good, not great. I mean, they're a respectable team. They have a great defense. I like that they have to go on the road to the West Coast on a short week. I really like. If it was in New Orleans, I would be a lot more worried. I like the fact that it's in LA I think is huge for us. I mean, I have it as a win. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think we're the better team, and I think we'll pull it out.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think this one I always felt a little uncomfortable about. Not that they were going to lose, but just like this could be kind of one of those, they have no business losing this game, but at the same time, so I think it'll be a close game, but I think it's going to be like 23-14 or 24-13, something like that. But I think this is one of those ones, man, if you want that win margin, your beggars can't be choosers. Just be fine with the victory on Thursday on a short week,
No, I completely agree. And I think someone said it earlier, but my main concern is just our secondary just can't give up a couple just, one play drives like we did against Baltimore. And then I guess, it happened once or twice today with Terry McLaurin. Basically, if our secondary just doesn't give them, gimmies, then I think it's a win for us.
Yeah. I mean, I think... I don't know what it is lately with the broken coverage, but it does seem to be a little bit concerning. I think, looking at just the Terry McLaurin plays, like the big, blow up plays at the end of the game, I think a lot of that was just, Ahkello Witherspoon was out of the game. There's no safety help over the top. Darion Kendrick needs to understand that. I thought the first play, the touchdown he gave up, was good coverage.
It was.
See, what a lot of people like, the misconception is if you don't look back to the ball, there's no rule stating that is pass interference.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like they call face guarding anymore either. So what he's doing on that first play is absolutely legal, and it is a technique. It is a type of way to accomplish something. You know, there are some guys that will turn their back and, you know, they'll kind of play it, you know, toe tap and everything and just keep looking backwards and all that and maybe grab a little bit. He didn't grab. He, you know, he's watching the eyes, he's watching the arm and everything. And then he puts his hand up and he makes a nice play on the ball. But Terry McLaurin is one of the best receivers, and he shows you that with even better play on the ball, and that's why he gets the touchdown. The second one, however, is a lack of discipline because he's grabbing, he's holding all that, and then Terry McLaurin is just able to blow right by him once he disengages from that, puts him in a really bad spot, and that's not playing from the trail. That just means he got burned. There's a difference between playing from the trail where you're giving up that room because you know you have the recovery speed to absolutely recover from that and come back and pick it off or make a play on the ball. It's another when you ran a 4.9 at your pro day and you don't have that recovery speed and you're not trying to do that. You just got burned, and I think that was the distinction between the two. I saw there were people like, oh yeah, the first one was awful. First one is a good football play. I'm not going to sit here and pile on Darian Kendrick if I'm going to sit here and lie about it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand if you want to pile on him for that second one, okay, that was bad. That first one, that's about as good as you can cover that. Could he have turned his head around and tried to pick it off? Yes. I don't know why more corners don't do that. But at the same time, he played that as well as he could have. And just, I don't know how Terry McLaurin came down with it, but he did.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you said. And I mean, it was still an improvement overall from last week against an offense that's actually, for a lot of the year, Sam Howell was leading the league. I mean, it's not a bad offense. Eric Bieniemy is a good play caller.
Yeah.
They have some weapons. So I think it was still a good overall. I was happy overall with the performance. I thought Quentin Lake, he surprised me. I thought he was really solid. And then obviously what we did on the goal line was awesome. So I thought it was still a solid day overall from the defense.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Anytime you're able to go over 440 total yards of offense, that's definitely a good day at the office. 100-yard receiver, 100-yard rusher in a game. Would have liked more sacks from the defense. I think that's fair. But, again, there's a lot to like about, where the Rams are currently headed. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, yeah, but like they didn't do this and they didn't do this and they didn't do this and Lucas Haversick missed the kick. It's like, okay, yes, Lucas Haversick missed that kick badly and I'm annoyed, but at the same time, look at what Matt Gay's done. In the same allotted time, Lucas Haversick is kicking better than Matt Gay has. So, I mean, kickers go through it, and you're not a kick is not a guarantee. It was part of my biggest issue with Brett Maher because people were so upset Brett Maher wasn't making 50-yard field goals, and I was like, I know it seems like it should because these are NFL kickers and the pinnacle, it's the top of the very top, but 50-yard field goals are not a guarantee and they never have been, Right. So I mean that's kind of always how and it's not to say Haversick missed a 50-yarder. I mean it was shorter than that, but you're gonna miss field goals, and I think really the key here is that Justin Tucker's one of one. There's not another right. Justin Tucker in the league, so right. And that's what it goes to show you there, because the Ravens have gotten to the point where, man, 4th and 1 at their own, in the opponent's 30-yard line. It's like, man, I know we have Lamar Jackson, I know we have this guy and that guy and so forth, but I have a guaranteed 3. Who else in the league can say that? That's the thing.
Which is why I kind of wish we kept Crosby so that at least we would have, sort of a guaranteed 3 if it's less than, let's say, 45 yards or so, which, I think I would take that over the stronger leg, but the inconsistency of Haversick.
That's fair. I didn't hear great things about Crosby. Not anything like off the field, but just like the workouts and stuff in practice.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it sounded to me like Lucas won it pretty easily. if I'm being honest,
Gotcha.
which makes sense. I
Okay.
mean, it probably was going to take him a while to get going anyway. So, that's kind of the downside though as a kicker. Like if you're not in kicking shape in week 16, I don't really see how you're going to be able to help me.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, that's what I'll say. Do you have any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, sure. These my final thoughts are this, Jake. I'm looking at the whole NFC playoff picture.
Mhm.
First of all, I think we're much better than any of those teams that are kind of hovering over 7 wins. So all the, Seattle, Minnesota, Packers, all of them, I think we're head and shoulders above any of those kind of bubble teams. But I'm even looking at the top teams, and I heard you say earlier, we could go to a Super Bowl. I know you said you're not predicting that, neither am I, but I'm really just looking at the whole NFC, and there isn't really a team that scares me that much. Philly isn't playing as well, and when we played them, it was a good game, and I think we're much, much better than when we played them in I think it was week 5. I think we're a much better team, and I think they're a slightly worse team. We already played San Fran tough. I think Detroit, their defense isn't great. They can be had. So yeah, my final thoughts are, I honestly think we can, you saw what we did against the Ravens, obviously. I think we can go up against anyone in this conference, and I'm just really excited. It's going to be a fun rest of the season.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm really excited. I'm glad I'm lucky, man. I get to talk to people like you and, build a community and friendships, and it's fun, man. It really is. I mean, it makes, a team that I've been rooting for since I was a little kid, since birth, basically. I've turned into a job, and I get to, be a part of it with you guys. So I never get over it, to be honest with you. I know it. I kind of play it off like, oh yeah, it's cool. No, I never take it for granted. I love the community. Just the fact that, like, man, if you told me 6 years ago, yeah, you're going to have a Discord channel, and it's going to have, over 850 people in it, and you're going to have a YouTube channel that's going to have close to 22,000 people on it, I would have said you were absolutely nuts. So,
Dude, it's been awesome.
It really has, but it's been awesome just, being around everybody, and just watching. We've all kind of grown. We've all learned more about the game since. I'm way more knowledgeable than I was back when I first started, about pretty much everything that I'm doing, because you have to be better. You have to get better. But I think even like the fan base, I think we're just way more educated than, where we were in 2016. We've gone through different teams. We've seen Jeff Fisher football. We've seen, okay, this is, we went from, oh, wow, we should be this, we should be this, we should be that, we should have won this, we should have won that. And then you get to a Sean McVay, and now you're like, oh, okay, now I see why. Because the Sean McVays of the world were beating Jeff Fisher, and they were winning those. Oh, we should have won those games. And that's the miracle, but also the obvious thing about having a really good head coach, because those games that you don't deserve to win, you can still steal.
Yep.
There's no committee at the end of the year that decides who gets in the playoffs. A win is a win. So that's the beauty about it. But Will, as always, appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you too, Jake. Go Rams. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too. Later, Will.
Later.
All right. So let's see here. We got Eli. How's it going?
How's it going, brother?
It's going, man. Good, actually. I don't even want to say it's going, because I know that has a negative connotation. But yeah, man, just after watching that game, feeling good about it. How are you feeling?
I feel real good about it. My only critique is Darian. I feel like he got to clean it up, man, or he got to get out of here.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and you kind of. That second play, the first touchdown, I'm not hating on him. I thought that was really good coverage. The second touchdown, though, like, just envision NFC title game. That's Ayuk, that's AJ Brown, that's CeeDee Lamb. That's insert number one receiver there. Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, you can't give those up. Like if you don't have safety help over the top, you can't play that aggressively.
I just don't understand why Akello doesn't travel like Jalen Ramsey did.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wasn't on the field for those two plays. I feel like they kind of just had him on Terry most of the game. Then he kind of got dinged up a little bit, so they took him out because they need him for Thursday. Then the game ended up getting a little bit closer than maybe they thought it was going to. So yeah, but no, I mean, I'm with you, and he could. I mean, he could play the star, he could travel, he could really do it all. Like Hello is a freakish athlete. And he plays the cornerback position unlike anybody I've ever seen. I mean, the guy, he seems so fluid, and it's honestly like, it's more like a finesse style and not really like an in-your-face, raw style of playing corner. Like, it's not like Jalen at all. He kind of almost, it looks like he's not even interested. That's kind of the funny thing, is like he looks like he's bored out there. That's just the way he plays.
Yeah. I enjoy watching him play.
Yeah, he's fun. What do you think about his number 44? I know it looks weird, but I actually love it.
I was about to say I like it a lot. I think that it fits him.
Yeah, I don't know why it looks bad on Marlon Humphrey with the Ravens. No hate on the Ravens uniforms. I just I don't think it looks good on Marlon Humphrey. But Akello, I think it looks good. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I like Akello and I was a big fan of the pickup, but I don't know, man. Like, just wearing that same number as his dad, I think it's cool. I mean, I've had a chance to speak with his dad. Really nice guy. The whole story, I just think it's really cool. But I mean, regardless, I think the number's just baller.
I agree. I think we definitely got a chance at making the Super Bowl this year, though. I'm not saying that we are going to, but I think that we have a really good shot.
No, I agree. I mean, again, I don't want to say like everyone is thinking something because of a certain thing or whatever. That probably didn't come out the right way. But anyway, the point is, I don't want to just assume everyone's thinking the same thing for the same reason. However, it feels like the big holdup on why like Rams fans don't like, they're so quick to not ever say Super Bowl is because they don't want to come off like a homer.
Yeah. I just don't see like every team that we played that was supposed to be the top caliber. We were in those games.
Yeah.
It was coaching mistakes. It was playing mistakes. Like, that took us out of the game. We clean those up. We're on a roll. Like I really think we play Philly again. If we play Philly again, we could win that game. We play 49ers again, we could win that game.
Yeah.
Like I really think that we could. Dallas was a complete blowout, but
yeah, but you know something. Dallas wasn't as bad as I thought. Because I went back and I watched it like recently. I know I tortured myself. I do this. That's just the way I am. But the Dallas game recently, the 43-20. What I want to point out is how when the Rams score and they get that 2-point conversion, at that point, it's 33-15. Okay. I'm not saying they're 100% coming back.
Right.
But that's at 11:29 and they rule Stafford out. So they rule Stafford out, and that means the rest of the game is Brett Rippon.
Man.
So, like, that...
Heartbreaker.
I'm not saying that they were going to win, but I also think a lot of, some things really came to be. If they call that pass interference on Cooper Kupp on the first drive, game is completely changed. It's a weird game. It's one of those games that kind of got away from them, snowballed. I think if Kyron Williams plays, it's a completely different football game.
Yes, sir.
But I'd say the same thing about the Steelers. I'd say the same thing about the Packers. I mean, he's the engine of the offense, man, and he's proven it week in, week out.
I'm just excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I hear you.
I wasn't excited a couple weeks ago, but I'm very excited now.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, the Ravens game, I'm not going to lie, that was painful, but if you really looked at it, that Ravens game was huge because it really just kind of showed you the Rams weren't boxing above their weight class necessarily. They were part of that, the higher up weight class. Like, they were on that level. They can hang with the Ravens. They can hang with the 49ers, to your point. But it wasn't just, oh, okay, so they're good, with a division rival who they know a lot about in the 49ers,
Right.
It wasn't just, oh, yeah, like the Bengals and like Joe Burrow. Like, no. Like, they did it against the Ravens, who are as healthy as can be right now. They were on the road, freezing cold, windy, just everything against the Rams in that game. Lose Havenstein at the beginning, losing Tavon Austin Tutu Atwell, good Lord. Losing Tutu Atwell at the beginning. It just, to me, losing those two guys, being in just the elements, going up against that Ravens team, no holding calls, were made in that one. Made Lamar Jackson.
Piss off of the century.
Oh, I know. And then they called one almost like on the first drive of the game against Washington. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, I really? Because I thought we were allowed to do that based on last week. Yeah. No, my God. How are you feeling about Thursday?
I think that's going to be a lot tougher game
than
today. I think it goes down to the wire. But I think we could pull it out. We got better coaches. I think we got a better team. We just got to play ball. Got to play it the right way. We got to play it smart.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
And run the goddamn ball in the red zone. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that's getting a little annoying. And I know they want to get Stafford his touchdown passes, but, man, it's – Kyron Williams is automatic in the red zone. Like, just do what they're doing over in Miami with Mostert. I mean, that guy has 20 touchdowns on the season. This is crazy.
Insane.
Absolutely. But, hey, it was nice talking with you, Eli. You'll have to come back Thursday night. I have Bleacher Report first, live stream on that app, and then afterwards I'm coming back on YouTube. So it'll be 2 live streams. I'll have call-ins on that second live stream. I'll be live pretty much all night because that game will end. I mean, that game is going to end around like 11 my time anyway. So should be fun.
I'll be tuning in. I tune in every week.
I appreciate it, my friend. You take it easy.
Right, you too.
All right. Let's see. Cool. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left. Let's bring on P-Train. P-Train, how you doing? You there? Looks like the Ravens are playing an ugly one in Jacksonville. I don't have the game on. I just see Gamecast. They're at the 2-yard line, 11-play drive, 3-0, trying to go up 10-0. All right, I'll throw you back in there, P-Train. Yeah. I'm going to get a beer real quick. Or at least something to drink. Probably a beer. That's probably all I have in my mini fridge. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. What on earth just happened? 2nd and goal at the Jacksonville 16. Oh, Lamar Jackson just threw a touchdown to Isaiah Likely. Yeah, so in case anyone wanted to know what I've been drinking on DTR, because I've had this bottle, it is the Bel Air Sour, Tropical Sour by Brooklyn Brewery. So I don't know if you guys are a fan, but I love it. Tastes great. Brooklyn Brewery, not sponsored, just showing you. Because I know some people are like, hey, Jake, what beer are you drinking? I don't know. I've never seen a turquoise looking label. Well, there you go. All right. Nothing like a nice ice cold beer when you're thirsty. When you're feeling like, I just need something. I don't need a lot. Just need something. Okay. Let's see here. We got Rusty. What's up? Rusty, you there? Okay. No to Rusty. To be fair, I think like I'm aware most of you guys have been waiting like 2 hours, so like I get it. Oh, I see P-Train's not muted. P-Train, you there? No.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. How's it going?
Sorry about that. I was putting away some dinner.
No, you're fine. I know you guys have been waiting for like 2 hours, so.
Oh, hold on. I got a delay. I got to pause your live. There we go. Now it won't be an echo.
Oh,
There we go.
that's the best. Don't you just love it when you're talking and you hear an echo? My favorite is when, you have a phone call and for whatever reason, when you're talking to somebody, you could hear yourself. And
Oh my God, that's the worst.
It's absolutely the worst. How you doing? How you feeling? Big win today. I understand, it's only the Commanders, but the win means a lot considering what transpired in Week 15. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, we had to have the victory. I mean, I kept thinking, in my half glass empty type of approach to things. I was like, this is the kind of game the Rams lose because everybody else lost, the Packers and all that stuff. I was like, this is where we mess up. We don't take advantage of the situations when we should.
Yeah.
And we almost let it slip through our fingers again, And I sat there and I was like, the defense played freaking outstanding until the last, like 10 minutes of the game when they brought in Brissett, and then Kendrick is starting to be Kendricks again, like he did in Philadelphia just before the half, and he's sitting there pass interference and giving the team 1st and goal. And I think he's kind of gotten a reputation, so the refs are looking for it now from him.
Yeah.
And so they kind of, I think, sometimes sort of pick on him, but he brings it on himself when he's not disciplined. And
yeah, it's tough.
He's got to clean that up. I mean, can't they find somebody else? Where's Shelby or whatever?
Duke Shelley, he's on IR.
Yeah. Oh man, because Kendricks can sometimes be really great, but then when he hurts you, man, he just hurts you. Now, thankfully, this was the Commanders, and we could overcome the Commanders. We faced Philadelphia. We couldn't overcome that kind of stuff. You can't do this against the really quality teams, the Cowboys and Eagles and all that. Everyone has to be disciplined. And when Haversack missed that field goal again, he pushes it to the right. He always pushes it to the right. When he gets that 40+ yards,
I wouldn't even call that a push. What the hell was that?
I mean, he just shanks
he
kicks it and it just goes there.
You could have put another post right next to the regular post. You could put another field goal post, and it literally would have gone past that. Like he wouldn't have been. He would have missed 2. He kicked that so far to the right, it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, I'm not too worried. I'm not.
Sean McVay was pissed. You
Yeah.
saw the look on his
Oh, yeah.
face. He was pissed.
I
I don't
think
blame him.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what I say is like a game like this is a blessing and a curse. It's a free W if you take care of business because the Commanders aren't a good football team, you know. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you don't really win much out of it. You know, it's like this expectation when you go against a bad team. Like the expectation is like you have to blow them out, and that's
Yeah.
by the fans and so forth. And then you come out there and you're blowing them out, and then you let them back in the game, and then you finish, and it's like after that, it's like, you're pissed because you're like, man, like this game shouldn't have been close. And the bottom
Yeah,
line is,
that's-
it ended up being a game in which they were going for an onside kick to potentially tie the game on the final drive. That's what it came
Yeah.
down to.
And that's exactly how I felt with this. I was like, when I was talking, because I told you last week it was going to be hell week here. My wife, being a Commanders fan, thank goodness she fell asleep during the game because she knew her team was going to lose. But I was just like, man, we're letting teams stay close to us, and that's when something bad happens, a fumble, a bad snap or something. Kendricks does what he does and missed field goal, and it just starts to add up. And then, we talked about this back earlier in the season about the issues with Sean McVay. There was 3 of them, if you remember: blowing through timeouts, abandoning the run, and never putting his foot on the neck of his opponents. And today he didn't put his foot down on them. We got into that 28-7 lead, and he just started run. I know he's trying to milk the clock. I know why he's doing it, but the Cowboys wouldn't have done that. They would have been aggressive and kept shoving it and just throwing it all over the place and run up the score.
Yeah.
And
I was actually surprised,
and
believe
look
it or
what
not.
happens.
I thought he would have
That he
thrown it
did-
all over.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it was like the last 10 minutes or so of the game or something like that, and I'm like, here he's doing it. It's run stuff, and I'm like, here he goes. And then the thing is when bad stuff happens, that's when bad stuff starts to happen. Because
Yeah.
you're not putting your foot down on their necks, and this is what one of his 3 Achilles heels, Sean McVay's, and it almost came to bite him in the ass tonight. And I'm just like, come on, dude, you got to learn your lesson. Put these teams away. You can't be nice. When I sit there and I coach my son's kickball team, I know it's not the same as the NFL, but there are similarities in everything, and coaching and what you expect from your team, practicing all that. Every time we got up there, I had no mercy on my opponents, none. We were going to put the foot down on them every doggone time, every chance we got. I don't care if we were up by 15 runs, we were still going to keep going. Yep. I'm merciless.
Hey, I get it though. Because I mean, it's the NFL. Like we've already been. It's how many times have we seen that no lead is safe? I mean, I don't disagree. I don't believe in running up the score per se, because I don't really think in the passing era you can run up a score. I mean, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
It just takes a blocked punt here and a fumble here. I mean, how many fumbles did we see? I think you were in my live stream when we were doing those watch parties. How many fumbles happened in week 1? I mean, it was insane. Everyone was fumbling the ball, the 1 o'clock games.
Yeah.
Week 1 of the season. It was fumble. It's like,
That's what happens. You let a team stay around, and then when bad stuff starts to happen to you, it snowballs. We were there a little bit with the Cowboys, and then block punts. This happens, that happens, and then Dallas ran their score up on us and just kicked our rear ends. They didn't let us they didn't give us a chance to come back in the game, nor should they have. You don't let teams stay close with you. You put the foot down and you keep going on them until they are counted out. But
no, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't want to be that Haversick, I wouldn't want to be him, because I'm telling you, Sean is going to wring his neck. Because we talked about this too. He is going to cost us a game sooner or later, or Kendricks now, if he's going to keep doing what he's doing. One of those two jokers are going to cost us a game. And, God, I'm just like, and I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm waiting for it to happen. I don't want it to happen, but that missed field goal, a block, missed extra point here and there, and that's the difference. When you face San Francisco, that's the difference.
No, you're right. I mean, it's very real. I kept thinking, just man, that the Kendrick, the second one, the first one, like I said, I thought that was great coverage, just a great play from a great player. But the second one, he just got absolutely blown off the ball and then started holding and grasping, and it should have been called. It wasn't. It still ended up being a touchdown anyway, or almost a touchdown. It was at the 1 yard line. And just to me, that one is like, I don't even know. Like,
and then he gets a pass interference. When we had him on fourth down, our defense got that right there, that goal line stance, and we had him, and Kendricks goes in. It's like, I don't even know if it was really that much of a pass interference compared to all the other stuff that was going on in the game. But, I kind of think because he has a little bit of a reputation, the refs are looking at him. They're dogging him for everything. And, but he brought it on himself.
I think the thing with him is he's most often he makes some great plays, goes unsaid.
He does.
And then you have, of course, one of those, and then everyone's talking about that one. So it doesn't get him to lose his job. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to bench him going into week 16. That seems a little too close for comfort.
They may not have anybody better.
I mean,
to replace him. I mean, where's Kobe Durant? Is he out there on the field much?
Well, we know he exists. He's still out there because he blocked an extra point. But I kind of wanted him to run that back. That would have been kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, it would have been 2 points or something like that.
Yeah, it's funny.
But shoot, what was I going to say? My guy, DeMarcus Robinson. Remember, I kept telling you, I said, I made a prediction. I don't think this part will come true, but back in the beginning, I was like, I think he's going to be the second leading receiver on the Rams team by the end of the season. Now, he may not get there because Puka showed up.
Oh, he won't get there, but.
No, but he'll probably be number 3. I think he's going to pass Tutu Atwell at some point here.
Yeah, I mean, if Tutu doesn't get any targets the rest of the year, he might. But Tutu's pretty far ahead of him. He's got 476 yards. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And DeMarcus has 153.
Oh, yeah. But he probably has almost as many touchdowns as Tutu.
Maybe 3 or 4. Yeah. Yeah, no. They both have 3, so.
Yeah. I mean, DeMarcus Robinson is showing, and you can see that he and Stafford have rapport with each other. And I just like what he brings to the table. And one of the callers was mentioning about Kupp is back, and I was thinking the same thing last week in last week's game when he was running out of defensive a DB, and he does his spin move.
Oh yeah, he's just in his element at that point.
I was like, oh my God, he is back. That because I think with Kupp, when he came back from injured reserve, he was obviously not still him. He wasn't himself mentally. I don't think he trusted that his body would hold up, and he was, how like when Cam Akers came back from his first Achilles with it when he was on the Rams, he was back physically. He was there, but mentally he wasn't, trusting his body that his body could take the rigors of the game and not fail him. And I kind of think the same thing was going on with Kupp. But now that Kupp is doing those spin moves and he's cutting and I was like, okay, he's over it. He knows his body is going to support him whenever he decides to make certain moves and cuts and everything. So I am definitely pretty, convinced he's like almost 100% back, as much as you could be, this time of year.
Yeah, I think with Kupp, I mean, he came right off IR and immediately had back-to-back 100-yard games. But then I feel like immediately just the team was so focused on trying to get him opportunities that they like overdid it, and they started force-feeding him and made it obvious that they were only targeting him. And then I think he actually got hurt again and just like really had a hard time. And now I think he's fully, I wouldn't say fully. I don't think anybody's fully anything going into week 16.
No.
Yeah, the brutalizing world of football, but no, I really do think that, you know, the rest of the year, I think Cooper Kupp is going to be what we're used to. Maybe not like Triple Crown level, but
Right.
you know, I definitely think that.
Where is he at in his yards? About 400 or 500 yards right now, something like that, maybe 600.
Yeah, he's got to be excuse me. He's got to be over 100 and 650, I'd imagine, at this point in time. I'll check right now, but
Puka's probably close to Puka's already over 1,000, isn't he?
49 for 658 and a touchdown, 4 touchdowns, Cooper Kupp. So 658. And he's had 400-yard games. Kyron's had 5. If you can believe it.
Yeah, I was that was another thing. I was concerned, like all of us, I think, with with Kyron Williams dropping those 2 fumbles on there. But it was nice to see him continue to get fed the ball.
Yeah.
And just keep and not hesitate. He didn't care. He was going to bust through those doggone players and run like he always does, and hard-nosed. And I was glad to see it. And that he took care of the rock and everything like that. So I'm okay. I'm not worried about him. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and Puka's at 1,163 yards, 4 touchdowns on 87 receptions. So he's got 13 away from having 100 on the season receptions. So that's good stuff.
Who would have thought it?
Yeah.
Who would have thought
135 targets. I mean, the target share was insane at the beginning of the year. 15, 20, you know, that's not going to be consistent. So then the Bengals, it goes down to 7. Then he had 10. Then he had 11, 7, 12, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 9, 8. So realistically speaking, he's going to get around. Today. Yeah, he had 8 targets today. So, I mean, you know, realistically speaking, this is somebody that's probably going to have like 8 targets a game, 7 targets a game, 5 catches and 60 yards. You know, he might have a 5-catch, 80-yard game. He might have more catches, but like that's pretty much what an average, you know, Puka Nacua game is going to be. He actually had kind of a down. There were 4 straight games where he was kind of down, but then, you know, he recently came back 100-yard against the Browns, really impressive, and a touchdown, 84 yards against the Ravens, and then 50 yards this week.
I think kind of overall, though, over the last week against Baltimore and the week before with Cleveland, I think the Rams as a whole played up to the level of the competition, and I kind of felt like we played a little bit down, not totally down, but we played a little bit. I don't think this game was as complete of a game as what we played against Baltimore last week.
No, the game against Baltimore was better.
Yeah, my wife's in the background saying Merry Christmas from Washington. Take your loser butt back there.
Oh, P-Train. I appreciate you, as always, calling in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
we'll have to. We'll have to chat after the Rams and Saints game.
Saints. Yeah,
pretty big.
I'm a little worried. After seeing what the Saints did this week.
They're a sneaky team. I mean, are they playing their best football right now?
Maybe.
They're definitely better than the Commanders. Yeah.
I think they're better than the Commanders, and they're going to be better than the Giants. So we have to have our A game. I mean, we didn't have our A game today with Kendricks and Haversick and stuff like that. Those 2 were the weak links. But you can't afford to do stuff like that against the Saints. You may not be able to overcome that. They just might have enough if more things go wrong, you know, to overcome. But,
I don't know what the Giants were thinking though. Like, I mean, this team is so bad against the run. That's the thing. Kyron could go nuclear in that Saints game. Saints right now have given up more yards per game on the ground than any team in the league over the last 3. I just don't understand what they were thinking. Like the Giants only handing the ball off 9 times to Saquon Barkley. I don't get it. But anyway, we'll get into that. P-Train, thank you as always, and we'll talk soon, man.
All right, have a great week.
You too. Take care.
All right. Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So let's go. Rusty, you there this time? Rusty? All right, I think Falco. Falco, how you doing? You there, Falco? I'm not hearing anybody. If you're talking right now, I don't know. Let's see. Mitch, can you hear me?
Yo, what's up, Jake?
What's up? How you doing?
What's good, brother? What's good?
Just enjoying the victory, talking with you guys, the usual.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It was a good game, great game. Always coming out with a win is great. I think there was a couple of mistakes, with the turnovers by Kyron, which is uncharacteristic by him. That missed field goal that put us in some adverse situations, but they answered, man. I'm proud of the way the defense played when DK gave up that long pass to Terry McLaurin that was touchdown, but because he didn't quit, he got him down at the one. And I think the defense went on to hold them for like a whole 3 minutes to even take them to the 2 minute warning. They made a goal line stand there for like 8 plays. So I was like, good job, D. Definitely good job on that. So let me pause the game. I'm watching the film and shit. I just watched the offense again, and Matthew Stafford he put on the clinic today, boy. It was a beauty to watch him play, especially in that first half. I think he only had one incompletion.
He's
one
just
or two.
He's on fire. His passer rating's now over 90, which it's been below that for a while. I feel like the stats are finally starting to show what the film shows, so it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, he's been dialed in ever since the bye week. He's been dialed in. It's a beautiful thing to see. But I think it's also with the addition of Kern being back too. McVay's in his bag. I mean, with the run, the pass, it's all just coming together. And I mean, it's sad to say because I love Raheem, but if he doesn't get a job next year, I don't know what NFL front offices are doing. The man deserves a second chance for being a head coach.
Agree. 100% agree. I'm not going to play the selfish one here and just say I hope he doesn't, because I'd love to see him back, but it's time, man. It's so overdue. He deserves it.
100%. Like, yeah, selfishly as a Rams fan, of course we want to keep him.
Yeah.
But it's like I definitely would, like, he's such a good guy. I would definitely love to see him get a second chance, because I think when he first got the Tampa job, he was the same age McVay got the Rams job, right? Or maybe like 1 year older. He was once the youngest coach when he got the job, right? It seems so long ago since he had that Tampa job.
Yeah, so when he got the Tampa job, he won 10 games his first year, I think it was. Yeah. It was like the most games won starting all. He started a whole new 11 on offense, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was something like crazy like that.
I think he was young too. He was like in his young 30s or something like that. He was like the youngest coach at the time.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he definitely deserves a second chance, man. Especially this year. I mean, everything everybody was saying in the off season. Of course, we knew the players, but no one did. All they could say, all I heard was, this team has Aaron Donald, no one else on defense. You can't name anybody else. And look what he's doing with these guys. I mean, for the most part, we held Washington in check. Who's been putting up numbers, like they put up 31 against the Eagles like twice this year. Like, the man's doing a great job as a D coordinator.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
my
yeah,
yeah.
it's.
Go ahead, my bad.
I think that with Raheem, I mean, what people don't understand, he's not running a defense that he was like that. This wasn't his philosophy. I mean, he basically was brought in to run Brandon Staley's defense. And I think he's done a really banged up job of it.
Yeah.
So
I think this year he's even blitzed a little bit more too, which I understand because we don't have that premier edge rusher. I love Byron Young. You know, hopefully he can like mature into that type of player when he's like a top notch edge rusher. But the things he's doing with Ernest Jones, I was talking with the guys in chat. I didn't realize he got paid already. The Rams extended him, or did they extend him, or something? I heard someone say yeah, or extended him. But he's definitely earned his money this year.
he hasn't gotten extended yet, but he's definitely somebody that could. Ernest Jones, they've just been using him like crazy, you know, as a blitzer, and I think it's gone very well. Once again, Raheem Morris just making adjustments with that defense. You know, really love to see that. How are you feeling about the rest of the way? Do you think the Rams win out? How are you seeing that going?
I think the toughest game out of the next three. I mean, of course, the Niners, but this Thursday night game, the Saints surprised me today. I didn't think they would do that well against the Giants. I didn't really get to see it. I know. I just heard you say that. I don't know what the Giants were thinking. They had to run the ball more, but historically speaking, Dennis Allen, he's been the defensive coordinator ever since like Sean Payton's been there, right? So McVay knows that defense.
No, that's true.
You know, and the history against that defense is we've done pretty successful on them. So I'm comfortable. I know they played a good game, you know, this week, but I'm comfortable. You know, Derek Carr was on fire, but I think they'll pull out that win. I think they'll pull out the win with the Giants. I heard you say you're gonna be at that game, man. I wanted to ask you what jersey you want, because I'm gonna be there with my wife and my dad and my cousins. They're all Giants fans, so we're gonna be there at that game too.
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
be looking out for you, man. I'm gonna be looking out for you and hope to try to buy you a beer, bro, brother.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you know, I don't know what jersey I'm gonna be wearing at that point. Really interesting. I was waiting on Jordan, but he disappeared. He was gonna. I don't know if you remember the jersey bet, but I said the Rams would win more than 5 games, and I don't know where he went.
Yeah, you brought that up a couple weeks ago. I remember that.
Yeah.
And for all the Rams fans it took, I think our over was 6.5. We hit 7 today, so there's a lot of money makers today.
Yeah.
So they put money on us in 7.
And you know, people betting on those those futures, they're not just putting $10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
They're like, all right.
Some reporter told McVay that in the off season during training camp, and he chuckled and was like, okay, and you can see it. It's all coming together. They knew the guys they had in the building. It was just a matter of being patient, letting these guys develop. And like we see after this bye week, man, there's only one loss, and that was the overtime loss against the number 1 team in the AFC, the team that holds the number 1 seed in the AFC. And I've heard you say it too. Like this team can go to the Super Bowl. I think they can. I'm not 100% confident of it because our field goal kicker. You need special teams, which I want to give a shout out to Blackburn, our special teams coach. Special teams did well today, other than that missed field goal. You know, getting that blocked field goal.
Yeah.
That, you know, getting on that guy on the the mess up punt and whatnot. You know, punt coverage was good. You know, they probably got called out this week, and they accepted the challenge. So props to them. Like this is another example of this coaching staff just doing their job, man, and getting these young guys ready. Just very impressive with McVay and this new staff that he got this year is doing, man. I'm happy to be a fan of this team. Like, proud of these guys.
Yeah, you know, I've said it. And, you know, thank you so much, Mitch, for calling in. I really appreciate it. I've said it all year. You know, there's a special connection, you know, with this team. You know, I think that's really what it comes down to is like it's not a bunch of mercenaries, it's not a bunch of, guys on 1-year deals and whatnot. You got a combination of like some really good young guys, actually a bunch of young guys. You got some top heavy vets, stars, great coaching staff, and then you do have your mercs. You have your 1-year deals with, obviously you go out and you get Dotson, who's essentially like a 1-year deal. I mean, they basically bought him before the season. Akello Witherspoon, Demarcus Robinson, just seeing this collection of players and what they've been able to do following last year of all years, just to see how they've overcome that. It's been really fun to watch.
I think, like you said, the connection is that they were all doubted. Like, imagine if you're like Ernest Jones and you're hearing like these main radio heads say, "There's no one on this defense other than Aaron Donald." That's going to get under his skin.
Oh, it did.
That's getting under all these guys' skin, man. Like, there's no one. Okay, you're going to learn my name this year. You're going to learn my name this year.
Absolutely.
Like, that's why the connection. And same like the Witherspoon and all of our veteran free agencies. Like, these were cast-offs. These guys, like, I can't believe I didn't get signed the first wave of free agency. Like, these guys, all these guys on our team have something to prove. And that's why I thought we were always going to have better than 7 wins. Just because football is a sport like that, when you're motivated and you're angry and hungry like that, it turns more than likely things are good. Good things are going to happen for your team when you got motivated guys.
No, I agree.
And I was happy. I was happy. Same with Sean. Like, people, the slander Sean and Les got just to base off that one bad season. I gotta remind people, I'm like, you realize that Sean McVay up to that terrible year had the second most wins behind Andy Reid and a guy named Patrick Mahomes. you people do realize that. Like, come on.
No,
it's ridiculous, bro.
I hear you, man.
It.
No, it's been fun to watch for sure. But hey, I appreciate you. I will talk to you in the next one, and you enjoy the rest of your week, man.
You too, man. Thanks, Jake.
Absolutely. Take care, Mitch.
You, bud.
Appreciate it. All right. So we got 4 more. Let's try Rusty again. Rusty, you there?
Sorry about the prior inconveniences. I was having really technical difficulties, and sorry about that, Jake.
No problem at all. Very, very professional of you. The way you worded that. How you feeling about the win and just the implications now that the Rams are 7th seed in the NFC?
Well, I want to take up some negative from this game. I'm sorry, Jake, I have to curse, but Gary on Kendrick fucking pissed me off the second half, and I was like, this motherfucker, you have one job, and how? But other than that, I think that was my only gripe. Oh, then execution overall. We were so sloppy the first half. Such a good drive just to accumulate 3 points. That was bad on McVay's part, and I was surprised the announcers even said, yeah, I know McVay really kind of regrets that play calling, and I'm happy that some people realize that, yeah, his play calling is shit at sometimes, but that's something he has to fix. And yeah, we just looked very lethargic in the first half. I was really disappointed in Steve Avila when Puka got that screen pass, and Steve didn't get anyone, and he bumped into Puka, and then Higbee with a costly flag. I was like, you come back after an injury, and then boom, a penalty.
Well, it wasn't costly because they went down the field after, and they were pretty much unstoppable until the red zone.
Yeah. And then another one of those screen passes to Cup, and Higbee didn't get anybody. So I think that was my only gripes of the game. I was so surprised we did really good on defense, but as soon as we put our pedal down, yeah, it kind of was one of those games we shouldn't have made it this close. But hey, I'm just happy we're in the playoffs, Jake. Who would have thought?
Man, I agree. I'm definitely with you there. Were you saying something, by the way? It was weird. It like kind of cut out. So I wasn't sure if you stopped talking or.
No, I was just, I don't think so. I'm telling you, Jake, my mic's kind of messed up. So
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
happy overall that we made it to the playoffs. We're in it. Screw
Yeah. I mean,
Panthers.
now you just have to defend your turf, essentially. You know, I mean, not really. I guess just Thursday is the only time you can really truly defend your turf because that's the last game at SoFi. But no, I mean, just take care of business of what's in front of you. You know,
Yeah.
4-game win streak to end the season. You beat the Commanders.
That
Now
would
just
be
win 3
amazing.
more, and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if you lose one of those games, then you're leaving it up to fate. That's
Yeah.
essentially what it is. I mean, they have it locked in. You know.
Oh, that's the scary thing about us. We're not 100% on any. We're not firing on all 3 cylinders, and we have the potential to do that. That's the scary part about us. And I don't want to be the team to play us come playoff time because we really don't have nothing to lose. If we get the Eagles or the Niners, I want to kick their ass out of the playoffs and make them suffer. I want the Niners to implode. If we ever get the Niners, I want to instill fear into them, and I'm telling you, hey, you did all this cute shit, but when you come play us, we're gonna send your ass packing. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And the Rams are not at full potential yet, which is very scary if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Like if the Lions get us, I'm sorry, Guff. I loved you and all you did. You were an amazing comeback story for Detroit. But Stafford's he's gonna want to win, and McVay too. So if you're in our way, hey, no hard feelings, but we're gonna kick your ass out.
Yeah. No, I mean, this team can beat anybody, any given time. That's what I've been saying. It's the consistency I've had this year with this team. I just feel like they can beat anybody. They've showed that. They showed it last year, too. They were in every game last year going into the fourth quarter. They just honestly ran out of bodies. They got hurt, all over the place, and that's really what happened. But, I mean, look at the team now, and it's like, it's no different, but now they're healthier, knock on wood, and I feel like, I mean, the key here is just really health. Because, I mean, you're going to need Havenstein. I love that they decided, you know what? Noteboom is really a liability compared to Havenstein. He is. But we are going to hold Havenstein out just because we have that short week,
Yeah.
Same thing with Tutu Atwell. It's like, why risk it?
At first, I was a little upset, like, fuck, we're not going to have big Havenstein or Tutu, but the way you put it, that's really smart of us to actually not risk them, because who knows, Havenstein could have literally broke his whole groin today if he played. So we had to deal with Nobu, the turnstile, but if he's 100% ready to go on Thursday, well, I think we'll be really better on the offensive line, and Tutu.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think I like the way they played it. They took Akello out. Obviously, I don't think they thought that their defense would implode, but they did take him out. He was a little banged up, but probably would have stayed in if it was like a really close game. But they took him out because it's a Thursday. They took Donald out. Donald was out for a while, and then he came back when the game got close. So
that's what I really appreciate out of the Rams. They're being smart, because last year they would have said, "Fuck it, just put him in there and pray to God he doesn't get hurt." Now this year they're being a lot more smarter with the injuries, and that was smart. They played Donald a little so he can stay a little bit warmed up, get his feeling in the game, and then when we didn't really need him, rest him. That was really smart. And Akello too, because I don't think I want to put Akello back on Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't want to do that. So they've been a lot smarter with their injury switch. Thank God.
Yeah.
I was so happy about that.
No, I felt great after that. I was like, just all you got to do is just get the win. That's all you had to do. I mean, coming in, I saw them blowing them out. Doesn't matter. When you have all those 3 things go down the way they did, you just get the win, man. Do not piss this away. You cannot sit there and have just watched such great football go your way on Saturday on Sunday, you know, in the 1 o'clock window, you cannot sit there and have watched all that for the Rams to lose to the Commanders. I mean, that would have just been such a slap in the face. Thank God.
It would remind me of the South Park, the meme. You blew it. You had it out and you blew it. We would have been like that.
Well, a lot of people might not know this. Sean McVay before, and I said this on one of the podcasts I was on. Sean McVay is 2-4 up until today. Now he's 3-4. 2-4 all time going into this game in week 15. Isn't that bizarre? That's bizarre.
That I never heard about that stat.
Yeah, he had only won 2 games in week 15 up until today.
Oh, okay. No, I think the games are coming back. Yep, they are coming back.
Yeah,
Oh my
the
God.
Jets was one of them.
I don't want to talk about that one.
I mean, look, the Jets game's upsetting, but imagine being a Jets fan and being like, yeah, you could have had Trevor Lawrence and that cost you Trevor Lawrence. Oh, look, I like Zach Wilson, but Trevor Lawrence would be so much better right now for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it cost him Trevor Lawrence winning that game. Hope it was worth it.
I mean,
That game was so bad. It was just Jets fans didn't want to win. Rams fans wanted to win. But yeah, the 15. So Sean McVay's first week 15 game was a 42-7 win over the Seattle Seahawks to basically take over the division. That was the passing of the torch. 2018 week 15, the Rams lost 30-23 to Philadelphia. That was at the Coliseum.
I remember that game.
That was the Carson Wentz ACL tear.
ACL tear.
2019 week 15, Dallas went crazy in that game on the ground, 44-21.
I
And
remember that game.
the Rams were sitting at 8-5 going into week 15, and they lost 2 straight, and then they ended up finishing 9-7 and missed the playoffs. The last year of the 6-team format.
Yeah.
I
wanted to McVay to have a 10 games winning season that the year, but
oh yeah,
we just couldn't. We couldn't.
And then 2020 week 15, they lost to the Jets 23-20.
Yep, I remember that.
2021, they beat Seattle 20-10. That was kind of a weird game too. It was a primetime game. Tuesday night game, actually. Because of COVID.
Oh, freaking COVID.
It was a very weird Tuesday night game. Then they lost last year, week 15, with Baker Mayfield in Green Bay.
I feel bad for Baker. But I'm happy he got his revenge today.
He did. He got his revenge. Baker did not play well in that game. The Rams had a shot at the playoffs. Very, very, very small shot. Getting in the playoffs 8 and 9. And then they lost, and Green Bay eliminated them from playoff contention with a 24-12 win over the Rams. Mayfield only had 111 yards passing in that game. So he went back to Green Bay and showed him who's boss. That was a Monday Night Football game that they did not flex. And now, week 15 this year is a 28-20 win over Washington. Rams have New Orleans on Thursday night. They got the Giants. That'll be at the game. And they'll be playing San Francisco in TBD, which means we don't know what time. We don't know what we don't know what station/channel. And we don't know if it's going to be, a nationally televised game or not.
Just get ready, Jake, because somehow the NFL is going to fuck us over. I just know them. They like fucking us over.
I don't know, because they're 7-7 right now. They currently have the 7th seed. Like, if they clinch after the Giants win, then what are the Rams and 49ers playing for? See what I'm saying? 49ers likely have the 1st seed, and the Rams likely have the 7th seed or 6th in the bag. So it's like, at that point, what would they be playing for?
Mostly pride.
But that's why that wouldn't get televised.
Yeah.
The national, that's the thing. The primetime game, the last game of the year, would have to have playoff implications.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. But
I'll be happy if we win that one.
I think they're going to win out. I do.
Hopefully.
But
we never know, Jake, because These 49ers always like fucking with us, especially when we have them by the throat.
They got
Somehow they
Baltimore,
managed to
Washington, and LA. And if they beat Baltimore, Washington, they can set themselves up for a first round bye. I think they can clinch it.
They're most likely going to do it.
Yeah,
Well,
I would say
we
so.
don't know.
Oh. All right, Rusty, I'm getting a little tired, so I want to get through everyone. Appreciate you, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it, Jake.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
You too. Take it easy. All right. Let's see here. Falco. You there?
Yep, I am here. There we go. Yep, sorry all about my technical.
But it's not just you. I was having the issues with P-Train. So I don't know what's going on really, but
Yeah, I don't know either. It's somehow like I found out is that it was setting me into deafen, and finally I couldn't have any control over that. So that's probably is the problem. So it's weird. So
that is weird. So
but anyways,
yeah, what were your thoughts today? I mean, I assume you're happy.
I'm very happy about the win. Now, of course, it was much closer than what most of us expected, but you also have to keep in mind is that Washington was fighting for their chances today as well.
Yeah.
With that loss officially eliminated. So they were fighting not to get eliminated. We were fighting for the 7th seed. So, I mean, outside of Darren Kendrick, which I don't want to drag on him too much because it seems like everyone is, you know?
It feels that way.
Yeah, because to be fair, like, to your point, if it was against like a brand naive AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, that could be game ending, right? But
yeah,
outside of that, I think we played pretty solid. Now, Tyron's 2 fumbles, I know some people in the Discord were really mad about Tyron's 2 fumbles. Now, listen, yes, that was very uncharacteristic from what we've seen of him. However, he then turned that around in the second half. So I just viewed it as, okay, bit weird, you know, him being maybe a bit overconfident, but he turned it around second half, and that's why I was more or less okay with it compared to DK, which he did stuff at the end of the game when it mattered the most. So I don't know. But again, outside of that, I'm pretty happy with the win. From what I saw on the New York Times thing is that so long as that the Eagles beat the Seahawks tomorrow, we beat the Saints, and the Lions beat the Vikings. All we had to do at that point is just beat the Giants, and we're in. That Packers-Vikings game, funny enough, may not even matter.
I saw that. That's the weird thing.
That's really interesting on how from one week that game really mattering a lot to the next week where it doesn't even matter potentially if things go our way.
No, that's crazy. Just to think like that Giants game, like winning, you're in. Like,
and that is what we like all about the NFL. It's so unpredictable week to week.
Yeah, it really is.
So another thing, I hope that Akello's going to be okay for Thursday.
He'll be fine.
We got any word on his condition?
I got the word. He's going to be fine.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Right. It also makes
I can't
sense.
say who it came from, but he'll be good. Let's just say it's someone who knows him well.
All right. Awesome. So that's good to hear that he'll be all good for. I also heard from, I think it was Blaine, I think, mentioned this, is that Rob Havenstein's going to be back Thursday night.
Yes.
That's massive.
Yeah, I think he would have played if it was like a playoff game or something, but, you know, I think they just, it was a strategic move. I mean, having him and Tutu, sit out this game, be ready on a short week. I think it was more just,
Makes sense, yeah. But overall, like, we can sit here and talk all the negatives, but I'm here to talk about positives. We're in the playoffs. All we have to do is just control our own destiny. Win out the games which are in front of us. Saints game Thursday night, Giants at MetLife week after that, and then from there, who knows about the San Francisco game if they bench their starters or not.
Yeah, I won't read too much into that. I mean, if they do, they do. I think the Rams can beat them fully healthy. I kind of want to see that. So, I
Me
won't.
too. But at the same time, if they have the number 1 seed locked up, why risk that injury,
That's true. You might see Sam Darnold instead or something.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
like that. So two questions, and then I'm gonna get over to Nash and Darth, and then call it a night. First question: how far do the Rams go?
I think we could potentially make a NFC Championship push, depending on who's our divisional matchup is.
I got you. That makes sense.
Because in theory, if we get the wild card, it's either going to be either Dallas, Philly, or the Lions. The Lions being the most favorable matchup, but assuming it's Philly, let's just say it's Philly, we have a pretty good shot against Philly, I would say.
I think so too.
From there, it's all up in the air because what if an upset happens and then we somehow face off against another wild card team in the divisional or something?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the second question, how do you feel about Thursday? Do you think they're going to win? How do you see it going down?
So.
Will it be close?
I think so. I think that the game will be close just based on how the standings are, because the Saints are fighting for a playoff spot as well.
Yeah.
I just think so long as the Rams don't make mistakes, they can win this game against the Saints on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And on top of that, this is our first time dealing with short rest in the season.
Yeah, that's true. So, we'll definitely see how they respond.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're almost better because, it's short rest, but at the same time, you're like more in football mode. Yeah.
And that momentum can carry you. Yeah. So overall, I'm pretty confident in Thursday. Hopefully we pull off the win against the Saints, because that would be massive if we won.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Falco, I wish I could talk to you a little bit longer. Just I'm trying to get through everybody.
Yeah. Believe me, I totally get it.
One of these days, I'll get the formula down. I definitely don't have it yet. Not everybody gets the same amount of time. I'm well aware of that. So hopefully at some point I can iron that out. Definitely not a pro at this yet, but appreciate you, and
appreciate you too.
I'll see you around, my guy.
I'll see you around too, Jake.
All right, later, Falco.
Take care.
You too. Okay, Nash, Phoenix Nash. How you doing?
Jake, can you hear me?
I can. How's it going, man?
Okay. It's going well. Good game, good win. Watching the Jags and the Ravens. Interesting game, but all in all, it's a good day today.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you heard. I was just telling Falco. I'm gonna give you two questions. Excuse me. Just so I can get through both you and Darth. I wasn't gonna leave before I talk to you guys.
Good, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Again, appreciate your patience and everything. I'm still very much ironing this process out. This will be way smoother next year, I think. This is my first year doing this, and I understand it's not 100% like perfect. So,
I appreciate you, still staying on and getting through, the whole list and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter if you're tired and stuff like that. Hey, it's all good, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
So all right, let's start off. The first one, how do you see Thursday night going against the Saints? Do you think it'll be close, a blowout? And do you think the Rams will win? Do you think they'll lose? How do you see that going down?
It's gonna be a dogfight for sure. Saints is just one of those teams where it's kind of like how you kind of describe Seattle. They're you know like cockroaches. They'll just they just don't go away somehow. And then, we have the long history with them because of the whole NFC Championship game screw job type thing. Still sour about that, but I still think that I think we can win this game. I think we can win out all the games, and I think we can hold the sixth seed. Because
Yeah,
what would be more sweeter than going to Detroit? Stafford's going to Detroit, and he wins in Detroit. What kind of sweet narrative that would be? Like full
absolutely.
circle is just it's you can't write it any better. You know, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be an easy task because the Saints team, good defense, they're twitchy and stuff like that. But if we can just get into Carr's head, I think we can take this game and stuff like that. So I have full confidence with this team. Been have confidence with this team since all the media was writing us off already. You know, um,
Yes, I do.
my prediction, because I know you were saying with other callers that you were saying that we can reach the Super Bowl. You know, I was just happy to just going to the playoffs. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we reached the Super Bowl because honestly, I think this is a successful season in itself because we knocked it out of the park with the draft. We got key players, with bright futures and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I think the development of these players has it's been just crazy. You know, who would have
absolutely.
thought Puka Nakua, fifth round pick, already has 1,000 yards already rookie season. Who would have thought that?
Yeah,
Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Nick Hampton, today, swatted that thing like a fly. Come on, you know, like this team is been growing and growing and it's getting stronger and stronger week by week, and perfect timing for all this to come into play, you know, and while other teams are starting to fall off, at least we're still in it, you know, but the media is still going to talk their trash and you know
that's to be expected.
oh yeah, I remember hearing J Mac saying, oh yeah, we should have traded Aaron Donald for picks because our defense is horrible. Well, I don't know, because all these games that we've been playing, we've been pretty much in it. So like that doesn't, I just don't get some of the media outlets sometimes, but what a big middle finger if we can just reach to the the NFC Championship game or even the Super Bowl, to all of them, don't count us out. You know,
Yeah,
we still got Stafford. I would say the most disrespected quarterback of the whole league. You know,
I
we should,
agree. I mean, he might be the best in the league right now over the last 4 games. So, I mean,
seriously,
he,
seriously.
he's been
But
he's been great.
yeah, it's all freaking Mahomes and Allen, blah blah blah. But it's like Stafford's like the middle child or something like that. Gets ignored and everything. So it's just he was playing awesome today. He's been playing awesome. Cup, that deep ball to Cup, that was beautiful. Like it was just a good game, man. That's all I can say. Yeah, there were some troubling things, but the positive thing was that we were still in it and we were still you know, Kyron went his fumbles, but he still was getting positive yards. He was still, making plays. He, punched in for a touchdown. Like I would think it's to be expected to fumble, but yes, I know it's like a crucial time when your playoff spots on the line. But you know, at least like we turned it around. We just didn't fold or anything like that. We still came out on top and we still won the game. That's all that matters. So that's that pretty much.
Yeah, I think looking at just the way the Rams are and everything, it's they have a shot to do whatever. They really do.
They do.
And
they honestly do.
Because they're not like a stereotypical, okay, they're a young team, they're the Packers. The Packers don't have they don't have Matthew Stafford. They have Jordan Love, who has no experience in the playoffs. So to have a Matthew Stafford on the road the whole way, and this team already having the experience playing on the road and playing tough on the road, I mean, I think they got just as good of a shot as anyone, as long as they get in the dance, which it sure looks like they're going to. So how far, like, second question, last question here. How far genuinely do you see them going?
At first I was seeing them just getting to the playoffs to have this season being a success pretty much.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you took like a bunch of rookies, young players, and you reached to, the playoffs. But now that I'm seeing it, I would like to see them in at least the NFC Championship game, of course,
Yeah.
Just to make a statement. Like, don't forget about us, pretty much. Like, you could talk about San Francisco all you want and Purdy and all this stuff, but, we're still in here, We could be a thorn in anybody's side, pretty much, That's why I think, like, a lot of people are just counting us out, Especially with the scheduling. I thought this scheduling was, this was brutal, Like, all those teams you guys were listing off, like, that we played with off of a bye, I thought that was, like, ridiculous.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is.
I was like, are you serious? It was just like, but the crazy thing was we were still in those games. That's the crazy thing. Like, we were still in these games. Like, yeah, I would think that Sean McVay should be coach of the year, but I don't think he's going to get it. Like, I know you guys were throwing out like D'Amico Ryans and stuff like that, but I honestly think that Dan Campbell should probably win it, because what he's done over there in Detroit, it's crazy, like,
yeah,
he's like kind of turned that place around, and having like, them like their season tickets being sold out and stuff like that for the first time. Like, I thought that was pretty cool, like,
absolutely.
I think that it's like, if you don't give it to him, like, come on, man, like that's saying something over there. But
I will say that win today, Texans without CJ Stroud, keeping them in the playoff race, that probably netted D'Amico Ryans coach of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Like, that was huge. Like, now they'll probably get Stroud back. Stroud will probably win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He'll win Coach of the Year. Rams get nothing out of that. It'll be annoying, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't take anything away from what Sean McVay's done,
No.
But I definitely get like the frustration. Like, yeah, he better be getting votes at the very least.
Yeah, that's at least getting the acknowledgement, but knowing how these people are, I doubt it, but the thing is, I still like, his energy, he's bringing to, like, the Rams organization and stuff like that. He's an awesome coach. Frustrating when we can't just punch it in on the first drive. Like, we have to, like, we're going good on the first drive, but we just can't punch it in. It's so frustrating, but it's like, at least, we won the game. But another thing I wanted to bring up, Jake, before I leave.
Yeah.
I got to get through the next caller. I was at that Rams game, the one with the Saints at the Coliseum. Forgot. Yeah.
Oh, 2019?
Yeah, I was that was like my first Rams game I went to. That was crazy that you brought that up.
That's funny. Yeah, I've only been to 3 in LA. That one, the Packers one, and then the one when they played at the time the Washington Redskins. And
okay.
yeah, it's I mean 2-1. All 3 games. Well, 2 of the 3 games came down to the wire. The Redskins game was close. The Packers game was literally Ty Montgomery fumbling away the game, and the game with the Saints they just pulled away. So
yeah, exactly. But that was crazy how you brought that up, because I was like, yeah, that was my first game, like awesome experience and stuff like that. So
oh yeah, we got like great tickets. They were like, I mean, felt like we were like on the sideline, and you just see Kupp, and he's this big dude just breaking tackles left and right on that long play, and you're like, oh my god, just seeing that live was crazy. And I was so fortunate he happened to go that way on the field when we were sitting over there, as opposed to going the other way.
Dang, that's tight, man. That's
so
sick.
yeah, it was really cool. You could see Robert Woods just throwing 3 blocks in that play. Really cool stuff. But
yeah, man.
Nash, appreciate you. I will catch you likely in the next one on Thursday. Man, that is going to be a long ass night. I have no idea, but I mean, at the same time, like I'm not doing a Sunday show, you know what I mean? So I do want to do something out of it, but yeah, no, appreciate it all, as always, for supporting the channel, man.
Of course, man. But you know what? Thursday, if you're just like, hey guys, I gotta, cut it short, and if I'm waiting, hey, no love lost over here, man. I get it,
Appreciate it,
you do
man.
a lot already, man. So just keep doing your thing, man. Like I said, I can't wait till you start doing your draft content, because I always look forward to that, man. So I'm just waiting for that. So keep doing your thing, Jake. Thank you for having me on, and you have a good night, my man.
You too. Thank you as always. Appreciate you, Nash.
All right. Peace out, man.
All right, later. And the last one, but not least, Darth, how's it going?
Going good. How are you, Jake?
Oh, man. Well, I've been live streaming sitting down for 3 hours, so I'm going insane. No, I'm kidding. But so to wrap it up, I was going to give you 2 questions. The same question I just gave, Nash. Let's start with the first one. How do you see Thursday Night Football against the Saints going?
I think it's going to be a real tough one. And I just feel like I think the Rams can win it. It's just that it just seems like Sean McVay in like primetime games, it's either the Rams are really good or really bad, not really in between.
I agree.
It's like, I just feel like, I don't know. It just seems like we have a curse or something on like primetime games whenever it's like, it feels like the Rams are playing great right now, and then all of a sudden, I could like totally see the Rams go on primetime, and then all of a sudden they play one of their worst games.
Yeah. I hope not.
I hope not, but like, it just seems like whenever the world is watching us, they're going like, yep, our opinion is right all along. They're a bad team, just as they thought like at the beginning.
I know the feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm just tired of people like underestimating this team. Like, I remember back after the first 4 weeks when we were 2-2, and then Cooper Kupp was like coming back, and the way that they were playing, I'm like, oh man, this team could catch on fire. I'm like feeling really good about it, and then we hit a snag, and it's like, man, what's gonna happen here? And man, we're bouncing back. Kyron Williams has been a huge
He's been awesome
for us. Like, man, if we had him for like the entire season and the way that he's been playing right now, we could win. We could have won some of those games that slipped out of our hands.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. He is a game changer in that Steeler game. He's a game changer in the Packer game. That Seahawks game is probably a blowout if they have Kyron instead. It's a 17-16 win. Yeah, he absolutely could have changed the game for sure. I think just not having him was so... They missed him. We'll just say that. Dallas game is probably different too. I'm not saying they win that game, but, you know.
It might be closer than what it was.
Well, it would definitely be closer than what it was. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, how far do you see this team going realistically?
I could see them going to the divisional round. And then I think like what a lot of people like said, like, you know, depending on like the opponent, I could definitely see them potentially going to the NFC Championship game. It just depends. I mean, yeah, it's really tough because, you know, you just never know what kind of opponents you have, but I do think that they have a legit shot at going to the NFC Championship game. And, you know, it isn't crazy that they could go to the Super Bowl with the way that, you know, if they can just clean some things up, like, you know, just being able to finish games, they can hang with anybody. That Baltimore Ravens game, I feel like, really showed me that this team can not only make it to the playoffs, but they could make a deep run.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they could definitely do that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, no matter what happens, if they go to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised. I think realistically, it's just, to put any ceiling on them right now for me is just impossible, because I think they're one of the 5 best teams in football currently. That's really what it comes down to. You know, I understand they're 7-7. People will disagree, but currently, as of right now, who's better than the Rams? I mean, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Rams. I mean, Dallas gets blown out on the road. They're just not a consistent enough road team for me. I mean, I got to tell you, I would probably go, let's see. All right, let's do this. I would go with the Ravens, the 49ers, the Rams, the Dolphins kind of, it's iffy. I don't know. I mean, it's the Bills I like. I mean, I'd probably go 49ers have won 6 straight. They're the hottest team right now. So the 49ers, the Ravens, the Rams, 49ers, Ravens, Rams. I guess the Dolphins. I might say the Bills. The Buccaneers look good right now. I mean, I think it's Ravens, 49ers, Rams, Bills, and Dolphins, to be honest with you. I don't like the Chiefs. I don't think they're good. You know?
I like my for my like Super Bowl like pick, like going into like before the season even started, I had Chiefs and like 49ers, but now I have 49ers and Ravens.
Yeah, I could see that. I like the Ravens in the AFC championship game for sure, and winning out and going to the Super Bowl.
Like, really, the only teams that maybe might be able to knock off the Ravens in the AFC is like Bills and Dolphins, but the Bills and like Dolphins, they are inconsistent. You just don't know like what team's going to show up.
Yeah.
You need consistency. You got to play, like, this is the time to play like your best football right now and carry it over. And, you know, yes, the Rams haven't been perfect, like, you know, like today wasn't great, but, you know, like the offense has been clicking, and they could have like scored a lot more points if Kyron Williams didn't fumble twice. And
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But yeah, I mean, I think, obviously the fumble was annoying, but I think Kyron's playing, great football, keeps him in every game. Defense for the most part keeps him in every game. And then of course you have, Matthew Stafford playing some of the best football of his entire career right now. But
oh my goodness.
But yeah, Darth, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you waiting. I'm gonna head off because I am absolutely beat. But
I get you, man. Oh, but man, today was a great day for me actually, because just seeing the Rams like being in the playoffs, and actually in one of my fantasy leagues, actually I'm trying to fight for a playoff spot actually. I've done my part of winning because my team exploded. My team actually currently in one of my leagues is scored like 200 points.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, like and I still have one player left. I got the Eagles kicker for tomorrow.
I got you. Okay.
Like the lowest point total on my team was 16 by Alvin Kamara.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, good luck to your team, and good luck to the Rams this Thursday. Appreciate you, Darth.
Yep.
I will catch you in the next one.
All right, see ya.
All right, later. All right, guys. So that is gonna do it. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. In case you didn't know that, you can follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. I can't believe we just broke out of 300 viewers. Over 300 viewers for almost the entire 3-hour live stream. Almost 3.5-hour live stream. So really cool stuff. Looks like the Ravens are knocking on the door to go up 24-7 here in Jacksonville. This is, look, I'm a football fan. I'm not just a Rams fan. I love, the NFL. I love football. Cover the NFL as well. So I found this a little fascinating because this game right here, the implications this has, if the Jaguars lose this game, they're now 8-6. Well, guess who's 8-6? Indy, Cincinnati, Cleveland's 9-5. So Jacksonville would fall to 8-6. And oh, by the way, Texans, they won their game. They're 8-6 as well. So a lot of 8-6 teams, just a lot of stuff going on right now. Buffalo's also 8-6. It's going to be an absolute dogfight to get into the playoffs in the AFC. Thank God the Rams aren't in the AFC right now. They wouldn't even be close to the playoffs. That goes back to what I said at the beginning of the season. Why did I feel so confident saying the Rams were going to make the playoffs? Because the NFC is weak this year. It's like, even though they have a young team, they're going to lose some games that they should win. They still have a very good shot of making the playoffs because the NFC is weak. It's really what it comes down to. And when you look at the AFC, have you guys seen the AFC? It's crazy. The NFC, you have 8 teams, 7 wins or more. In the AFC, you have currently 11 teams, 7 wins or more. And you have 9 teams that have 8 wins or more. And you have literally, like, if Jacksonville loses, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Colts, the Texans, and the Bills. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams tied at 8-6. And just think about this. Cleveland could have more wins than the 2 seed. Just absolutely crazy in the AFC. So, yeah, game has nothing to do with the Rams. They did settle for a Justin Tucker field goal. Can't blame him. He's automatic. Just put 3 points on the board, 20-7. They lead with 8 minutes to go. Yeah, I mean that's it. Looking take one last quick gander at the let's see here. Strength of schedule. I'm just curious. The Rams' strength of schedule went down to 526. That is still the toughest in the NFC outside of Seattle. And it's the toughest in the NFC outside of Seattle and the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have the toughest schedule currently. Seattle has the second toughest schedule. And the Rams have the third toughest schedule currently in the NFC. The Rams' strength of victory went down to 406. That is currently lower than the Packers, than the Falcons. It's higher than the Seahawks. It's way higher than the Saints. It's lower than the Vikings, higher than the Dallas Cowboys, the Buccaneers, lower than the Lions, the Eagles, and the 49ers. What's fascinating to me is strength of victory. This Saints team is not going to be easy, but at the same time, look at who they've played against. I've been saying resume matters, folks. When you're making your picks, resume matters. So here it is. The New Orleans Saints started off the season winning a 16-15 affair against the Titans. They beat the Panthers on the road 20-17. They lost to the Packers 18-17. They lost to the Bucs 26-9. They blew out the New England Patriots. They lost to the Texans 20-13. They lost to the Jaguars 31-24. They lost to they beat the Colts, in Indy 38-27. They beat the Bears 24-17. In that game, Tyson Bagent started. So they actually beat a banged up Bears team. They lost 27-19 to the Vikings. They lost 24-15 to the Falcons. They lost 33-28 to the Lions. They beat the Panthers 28-6, and they beat the Giants 24-6. So while this team has only given up 6 points the last two games, in back-to-back games, they're only giving up 12 total. The Rams are astronomically better of an offense than the Panthers and Giants. So it's important to go back and actually look at the body of work. And while I do think the Saints match up kind of scary against the Rams, they can't stop the run. And I really think when you look at just this body of work here, it's not an impressive resume. The last time I said this, it was a blowout. When I called out a team for not having an impressive resume, I had the Lions taking down the Broncos. I didn't want to call the Broncos frauds, but I was like, you beat Patrick Mahomes, with the flu. And I also don't think the Chiefs are that good to begin with this year. So wasn't really a really impressive win in my eyes. So that was something. Then you look at, what else they did, their body of work again. They started off the season, they lost to the Raiders, they lost to the Commanders, they lost by 50 to the Dolphins, they barely beat the Bears, they lose to the Jets, they lose to the Chiefs, they beat the Packers before their, resurgence. They beat the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes' the flu game. They beat the Bills in a weird position where the Bills weren't really playing all that well. They beat the Vikings. The Broncos did. They beat the Browns with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They lost to the Texans. They beat the Chargers, who just fired their head coach 24-7, and they got blown out by the Lions. So my point is, resumes matter, folks. It's not college football level. I'm not taking anything away. I'm not trying to say the Broncos don't matter. I'm not trying to say, hey, this 7-7 team is trash. But it gives you kind of an idea. The Broncos can win out. They have the Patriots, the Chargers, the Raiders. They can go 10-7. But if they go 10-7, the Rams say go 9-8. Are they better than the Rams? I don't think so. So looking at the Saints, not a great resume. Strength of victory is extremely low. So something to keep in mind. We'll talk about it. We'll get you guys ready. I'm going to head out of here. Appreciate everyone for hanging out with me. Always a pleasure. I'll have plenty of content throughout the week as always. But man, what a day. What a day. Celebrate Victory Monday. Big stuff. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. The fact we're actually going up in views again is crazy. Viewers almost at 6,000 views on the show. That's about 2,000 views an hour. So appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later.